at Gossett Kia on the Pike, and we've got the perfect holiday gift for you. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway, 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Get road-ready SUVs, Seat 7, 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 8-passenger seating in your new 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. Plus, you'll get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE 699,094, MSRP 21,385, Sorento PG 242,710, MSRP 33,010, Telluride RG 462, 2822, MSRP 38,705, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024, dealer stock only.
Somewhere around 400 feet off the ground, RPG came through the belly of the aircraft. When I first got out, I felt like my whole life had been smushed down to just medical appointments. I was going to occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy. We don't talk about the female combat wounded. These are our daughters and our sisters and our mothers. I'm not sure I would still be here if I didn't find the Friends and Wounded Warrior Project that I did. Because there was a long period after the injury where I really didn't understand why I was still here. It felt like I had lost everything. Wounded Warrior Project came into my life and taught me how to stand back up and get back in the fight. The truth is, I think we all have this strength inside of us, but until you're tested, you just don't know it's there.
See how Wounded Warrior Project empowers women veterans like Beth by visiting woundedwarriorproject.org/empowerwomenvets.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
They get up every morning from the long clocks, warning, take the 8:15 into the city.
Greetings and salutations on this Tuesday morning. We welcome you into another edition of Sports 56 Mornings, the Tuesday, December 12th, 2023 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. The Family Leisure Christmas sale is underway. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Great deals on just about everything. First hour of the program also brought to you by our friends at East Memphis Ace Hardware. Loaded show for you today on this Tuesday, December 12th. Connor O'Gara joins us at 7:25 to talk all things college football. Jeff Crane from the University of Memphis at 8:25. Zoe Goodson in our weekly Roads segment at 9:05. And Aaron Torres from Fox Sports Radio at 9:25. We've got Humdinger's Trivia coming your way at approximately 8:05. And we'll let you know what our topic will be for 5 favorite things. And by the way, we are winding down 5 favorite things, not only for the year, but for history, as it has been a fun time. We've had a great run of this, but all good things come to an end. So a few more weeks of 5 favorite things before we put this one on the shelf and maybe the Smithsonian Institute when it's all said and done. Of course, we'll take your phone calls during open segments and read your texts as well. Hit us up on the Sports 56 listener lines at 901-360-8255. Grizz fall last night to the Mavericks. Ja spends a good portion of his day in court. We will discuss that. We got University of Memphis basketball news as they get set for a showdown with Clemson. And yes, the Tigers did not crack the top 25 AP poll. We had 2 Monday night football games, 2, and they were both exciting games that came down to the wire. So that's all coming up on the program today. Good morning.
Good morning.
Cold out there, isn't it?
It's a little chilly.
33 degrees, clear skies, showers possible this morning, and then partly cloudy in the afternoon. High, though, near 60, Eli. Cold, low 39 tonight with a chance of rain at about 30%. So this afternoon, 60 degrees, gives you a chance to go back out there in your backyard and rake more leaves?
Probably will be doing that, as a matter of fact. Did a lot of that yesterday. Yesterday was nice. When the sun was out, it was nice.
It was nice when the sun was out. Zach, how are you this morning?
We're doing good.
You're donned in your red?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, more. I got the teal polo. I don't know if you guys can tell.
I can see now.
You know.
Looks nice. Nice combination. At least you're not wearing black and honor the Grizzlies' loss
keeping
last
the Grizzlies'
night.
colors hidden at this point.
Tough one last night.
I got my Ja shoes on. Just
There you go.
Oh, they're sharp. They're sharp. Well, they need Ja. We're going to talk about Ja, unfortunately, not on the court. We're going to talk about Ja off the court and in the courtroom in just a moment. But last night, the Grizzlies entertaining the Dallas Mavericks. Mavericks win 120-113. Good effort by the Grizzlies, especially late in the game. They fell behind by 20 points and really battled down until the end, but fall to drop their overall record to 6-16. 3 more games, if you're counting at home, before Ja is eligible to return. The Grizzlies now 1-10. 1-10 at home. Luka Doncic, here's Dallas. I think Dallas is a really good team. I don't think they're a great team. I would be surprised if they make a legitimate run at the Western Conference Championship. But it's a team where if Luka is out, they're average. Even with Kyrie Irving, they're average. With Luka and Kyrie out, this is not a knock on Kyrie. It just tells you how many different things that Luka can do. They're a team that still can beat you, and they did last night. And they got a really good performance from Derek Lively the second. 16 points, 16 rebounds. He controlled the boards. Grizzlies struggled on the boards. But Luka, again, it's like an average game for him. 35 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and a technical foul late in the game because Vince Williams Jr. was, I guess, getting on his nerves, doing trash talk. Vince Williams, let me tell you something. I remember when you laughed at me and when I said Vince Williams should be getting some run. Vince Williams, for whatever reason, now they're finally, it's because of the injuries. That's why they're finally using Vince Williams, because they've run out of guys. And Vince Williams, when you have Luka Doncic in the postgame saying he's a great defender, a guy who hardly even plays and now is starting to get some run, is called a great defender. It tells me a lot of things. First of all, the guy can rebound. He had 9 rebounds to go along with 10 points yesterday. Vince Williams is not a starter, but I think he has proven he's a rotation player. And right now he's a two-way guy. And it also tells you that they waited a long time to give this guy an opportunity, and maybe the only reason that he has this opportunity is injury. But Vince Williams, at least, is a bright spot for the Grizzlies. Obviously, Jaren Jackson Jr. had a huge game last night, scoring 41, his third career 40-point game. So certainly that is great news. Although, again, rebounding, he got 4 rebounds. Derek Lively got 16 rebounds. They ended up starting Santi Aldama and bringing Bismack Biyombo off the bench. Biyombo only had 2 rebounds. Aldama only had 2 rebounds. So really, they were burnt. They were really burned on the boards yesterday by Dallas.
Yeah, I wonder, with the fact that Biyombo did not start last night, and now it very well could just be a matchup deal because Dallas only has the one big in Lively. So you really, there's not a need for a second big, and it's a hard matchup. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it was thought that it was a foregone conclusion that when Ja comes back that you're going to sign Biyombo. But Biyombo has, let's be honest, been awful, really, for the last 5 games or so. Like, he's doing nothing for you. So was last night a bit of an experiment, again, with let's see how this works with throwing Santi in there and moving Jaren to the 5, or was it simply a matchup thing, and the idea is still that you're gonna keep Biyombo for the rest of the year once Ja's suspension ends next week?
Yeah, I saw you before the game, and then you went into the stands, and I was up in the media section, and the first thing I turned around was, wow, Bismack Biyombo is not starting. I said the same exact thing. Is it because of a matchup, or is it because he has been struggling? So it is an interesting question. I thought it was a foregone conclusion that they keep him. Now, here's why I still believe they keep him. They still need a big. And whether or not it's somebody else or they make a trade, that's fine. Maybe they'll do that. but they are not playing Kenneth Lofton Jr., so they're not playing him. So why would you decide to let Bismack Biyombo go when he's had some good games? But you're right, the last 5, he's been awful. He's had some good games, though. But he is somebody they can play. They don't play Kenneth Lofton Jr., so I don't know why you wouldn't just release Kenneth Lofton Jr. and sign Bismack Biyombo for the rest of the season, and then see what else you can do depending on if this team gets going once Ja returns. So I think that's the move I would still make, but it is not a foregone conclusion, and it wouldn't surprise me either way now. But again, the one thing is that they don't play Lofton, which makes me think, well, why are you going to keep a guy you don't play as opposed to a guy you actually do play?
Well, last night they barely played Biyombo. In the second half, he played 3 minutes.
Right, but look at the course of the last month or so since he's been acquired, since they signed him. Lofton doesn't play at all. So again, you're keeping a guy you don't play at all. Doesn't come off the bench, doesn't do anything. And you're going to get rid of a guy who's actually had some good games. They may do that. They may very well do that. But it doesn't make sense to me because it does not appear Lofton Jr. has a future with the Grizzlies. And Biyombo may not have a future beyond this year. But right now, unless they can pull off some type of trade, if they're even looking at a trade, or maybe there's another big that's out there that's available, I would tend to believe that they would keep Biyombo. But maybe 60-40 now, when I thought before it was probably 99% chance they would keep him. And with Noel, which would mean another roster move, he's been really, really good. He only played 7:53 off the bench last night. I believe that they will let him go. I don't believe they'll sign him for the rest of the year, even though, again, there are some people say they should.
Yeah, I mean, I think with him it would be obviously when they get either Kennard or Smart or both back and that exception goes away, that's when you have to make a decision as far as he is concerned. But if you've got Kennard and Smart back, there really isn't a role for Noel.
Right.
I mean, he did not play in the second half at all last night, didn't get on the floor. It was a very weird rotation second half last night because they basically, I mean, they rolled without a point guard. they pretty much just went without a point guard in the second half last night. For the most part, it was Bain, Williams, and Conchar were basically your back, guys rotating at the point guard position because Rose only played 7 minutes. You didn't play Noel at all. Like it was very strange as far as the way they went with things in the second half. But yeah, I don't. I think the only thing with Noel, I can't see them cutting somebody just to keep him. It would be if you ended up doing a trade of 2 for, you got rid of a couple people or something in a trade, then maybe, and you open up a roster spot, then maybe you keep him around. But I don't think they get rid of somebody just to keep Jalen Noel.
Yeah, last night was just another example of Taylor Jenkins having to try different combinations, experiment a little bit, as you said, running with Vince Williams, John Conchar down the stretch. Again, Vince Williams has been a pleasant surprise, but certainly he's not Kevin Durant. So they continue to struggle. Unfortunately, to get to the 8 now, that's the number I really envision, that 8 number, 8 and 17. They're going to have to win 2 of 3. They have Houston tomorrow night on the road, back home against Houston on Friday in the return of Dylan Brooks, and then at Oklahoma City on Monday before Ja's expected return for the Tuesday game in New Orleans. Can they win 2 out of 3? I don't know. Houston won again last night. But again, Jaren Jackson Jr. last night, tremendous offensive effort. 41 points, going to the hole. He was unstoppable. Des Bain, 28 points, 8 assists. Those two continue to do everything they can to help this team. I mentioned Doncic's numbers. He also played 44 minutes, 43 minutes, 53 seconds to be exact. Shocking to me.
Look the entire second half.
Luka Doncic, yeah, that's crazy. In this day and age of load management, in just one meaningless regular season game against the Grizzlies, Luka Doncic played nearly 44 minutes. Jaden Hardy had one of his better games of his young career. He went for 19, hitting threes, coming off the bench. Hardy went 5 of 7 from 3. But in the end, the Grizzlies fall to 1-10 at home and 6-16 overall. So we'll see what happens with Houston and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Can they somehow win 2? And again, it doesn't mean if you don't get to 8, then your season's over. Or if you get to 8, you're definitely going to be in the play-in. It's just a number that I have looked at.
The Luka's fantastic. He is. His running commentary last night with basically anybody near the court. He's just every fan up there. They got some back and forth with Luka. He's great. I love watching him. He loves that stuff. You can tell he enjoys it. The stuff with Vince Williams, the just constant back and forth. I would love to hear some of the things that were said there. And then during a free throw, there was with all the stuff like he kept going back and forth with Vince. And then during a free throw, he and Desmond Bain were having a conversation. I would love to hear that conversation. I want to know what Luka was saying. Maybe he wasn't talking about Vince at all, but I picture him going, who the hell is this dude? Like, why does he keep talking to me? Does he understand I'm Luka and I don't know who he is?
You would think that, but again, he was very complimentary of Vince Williams after the game. He did say something about playing one-on-one, and he got the technical foul for that. What was that all about? Zach, do you know? He said,
I don't know what he said.
Let's play one-on-one or something like that, and that's why he got the technical foul?
But he was
That makes no sense to me why he would be and then going back and forth with the fans, like you said, the fans were on him about flopping and things of that nature. And I know Des Bain and a couple other of the Grizzlies, they were getting a little upset with his antics. He's from Europe, ladies and gentlemen.
I think he is...
Comes with the territory.
First of all, he's awesome. Like the dude, his vision and some of the passes he throws are incredible. I don't even know how he sees the guy. It'll be like some cross court bullet pass. Like I don't know how you saw him, let alone make that pass to get to him.
He threw one in the first 2 minutes of the game where I think two guys were on the left side. He fakes the throw, looking right at them, and then just chucks it kind of sideways over his head. Perfectly right down the middle. It was probably Lively, I don't remember, for an easy dunk. There was nobody near Lively. It was bad defense, but it was a great no-look pass.
So Luka said he was just talking. This is about Vince Williams. He said he was talking blank the whole time. I told him I wish they let me play him one-on-one. That's when I got the tech. So I don't know. The refs got to just let us talk. It's part of the game. I love it. I think he's a great defender.
Yeah, there you go. What? He had to say something else because let us play one-on-one. Technical foul. That's ridiculous.
Last night also the first time I think that's the first time I've ever seen it was only like one section of the crowd, but the crowd give the coach like a standing ovation for ripping his team a new one.
Yes.
I mean, Taylor Jenkins lost his mind in the timeout. And after the timeout, the section behind the bench is like giving him a standing ovation. I was like
I didn't notice that.
I was like, that's awesome. Like, that's fantastic. And I didn't hear it. Everybody, like, I had other people telling me that, like, you could hear it all over the arena because it got silent, like they quit playing music in that timeout, and you could hear it everywhere, which I guess I just wasn't really paying attention. But like when they started cheering, I'm like, what the heck's going on? And then I found out it's because, and then I saw some of the video of him just going nuts. Like I was like, oh my God, I don't think I've ever seen Taylor like that in a timeout, man. He went crazy.
And they started to play better.
Yeah, and like the crazy thing about it, I remember when that happened because I was like, "Why? Say this? Did they show somebody on the jumbotron?" Like I was kind of confused.
It was bizarre. I don't know. I thought maybe like somebody in that section had just won something. I don't know. They're up. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, they're just cheering because Taylor Jenkins just went nuts in a timeout huddle. And yeah, I mean, that was right after that. He brought Zaire into the game, and there was like back-to-back possessions. Zaire was terrible. Gave up a layup. They gave up a layup, and it was just horrendous. And he went berserk. Which, again, it's the game. Like the problem with these home games, all of these now. Like you sit there, and last night it was the same thing. They would get it to either 10 or 9. Dallas would score, usually hit a 3, and then another bucket. It would be immediately back to 15. There is like the entire night, it's just there's inevitability. You're like, they're going to lose. Like you're like, they're going to lose. They're never like really a threat. Like they seem to get down early, and then they'll make a little run again. They get to like 10 or 9, but then immediately goes back to 15. They just never really threaten to win the game.
Yeah, but it goes back to 15.
So the fans are like,
yeah, but it goes back to 15.
They'll go cheer the coach yelling at the team because what else do we have to cheer?
Well, it goes back to 15 because they give up an open 3 and then they give up either a layup or a dunk. Defensively, at most of the time last night, not all the time, but most of the time, there were absolute lapses where Dallas got high percentage shots, I mean dunks, layups, or hit wide open threes. And Jenkins, as you said, and Zach just said, he lit into this team because of the effort they were given defensively. And then after the game, he said, and I'm paraphrasing, that fans deserve better. They're 1-10 at home. I don't care if Ja's not there, and all the injuries. They're 1-10 at home, and fans are paying their good, hard-earned money to go watch them play. Now, hopefully it'll be a different story next week when Ja returns, and then subsequently Kennard, Smart, and they start to get these players back. But right now it is not a good product.
Other than the Boston and Denver games, like what games at home have been like at the end you thought they had a chance to win?
Miami.
That's right. Miami was close. It's weird because like the better teams.
Yeah, Boston, Denver, Miami.
But
Dallas is really good.
I think that Pelicans home game, they could have won that game. They just let go of the road.
It is interesting though. 5 wins so far on the road, 1 at home. There was an interesting person in the stands last night. Maybe multiple people. I don't know who all was at the game.
There were definitely multiple people there.
No, I mean multiple famous people.
That's why we got the ovation.
Multiple known people. I don't know. I mean, I didn't go around and check on everybody. But Naquan Tomlin was at the game. There was the rumor yesterday that he was in town visiting with the University of Memphis. For those who don't know, Tomlin, recently a member of the Kansas State Wildcats basketball team, was let go from that team. And he's on a visit with the University of Memphis. Penny Hardaway, who did his coach's show last night, his radio coach's show, came over to FedEx Forum. Rick Stansbury was there earlier. I assume he was there with Naquan Tomlin. So Tomlin, who is expected to graduate next week, will be eligible to play immediately after enrolling at his next school. Don't know if it'll be Memphis. I'm sure there's a lot of other hot pursuiters that are looking for his services. But Tomlin in Memphis last night at the game at FedEx Forum.
Had some really good seats.
And there were good seats available, too.
Oh, yeah.
In the meantime,
Stansbury was not sitting with him. I don't know. He might have been there with him, but he was not sitting with him.
Well, he was. Yeah, you were down. You were down there, stealing somebody's seat. But I was upstairs, so I couldn't tell.
I was not stealing anybody's seat. I had a ticket for the seat I was sitting.
Did you really?
Do every game.
Every game you have a ticket?
When I sit in the stands, I sit in a seat that I have a ticket for.
Do you pay for the ticket?
And I was sitting directly across.
Do you pay for the ticket?
I was sitting directly across from Tomlin.
You're asking me, do I pay for it?
No, I'm looking at you, waiting for his answer.
Oh.
No, I don't pay for it.
He knows people in high places, I can tell you that. All right, so in the meantime, while the Grizzlies were playing last night, the court session with Ja Morant, I don't know when it wrapped up, but it wrapped up late in the day. 8 hours yesterday as Morant testified during the first day of an immunity hearing at Shelby County Circuit Court, and testifying in this lawsuit 1 week, roughly, before he's expected to return, which will be a week from tonight, against the New Orleans Pelicans. Morant taking the stand for about 3 hours, roughly, saying that he acted in self-defense when he punched a teenager at his home in July of 2022, that teenager being Josh Holloway. The altercation, which attorneys representing both sides questioned Morant about at great length, came during a pickup basketball game. You testified that this basketball was a weapon. Yes, Morant was asked by the prosecuting attorney. Her name is her name is what?
Rebecca Adelman.
Rebecca Adelman. You testified that this basketball was a weapon. Yes. Morant replied, yes. A lethal weapon, she asked? It hurt, Morant said. Morant testified that during the altercation. He asked Holloway, what you on? And then Morant said Holloway didn't reply, but instead pulled up his shorts. And then Ja said him pulling up his shorts, where I'm from, that's a fighting stance. Morant said Holloway took a step toward him, and then he stepped forward and punched Holloway. I hit him first to protect myself. Then after that blow, Devontae Pack came in. He punched Holloway, on and on and on. It just seems ridiculous that this is where we are for a punch thrown in a pickup game. I mean, when I was young, pickup games, things like that, sometimes you had altercations, but this is when you have a multi-millionaire and a kid who won't back down. I don't know if – I can't even imagine what the legal costs would be. I don't think this is being done pro bono, but certainly a chance for this attorney to make a big name for herself. I'm not saying that's what she's doing it for, but certainly you're going to get that kind of exposure because this is a story that's become national, not just local or regional. This is a national story. I'm reading this story right from ESPN. Baxter Holmes, senior writer, who's covering the trial. A lot of local media members covering this trial. But again, this is just the immunity hearing. It's not even the actual trial if it continues. What they're trying to figure out is whether or not he acted in defense. And if they feel that he did, then I guess it's over, right? If they come to the conclusion that he acted in defense, then I think they don't move on from here. The lawsuit is dragged. The lawsuit is dragged through the legal system for more than a year. In the immunity hearing, which is expected to last through at least today, Morant's lawyers aim to have the case dismissed by arguing that he acted in self-defense. So who knows if this will go to actual trial, but if they do go to trial, you're going to see the same thing happening, the same questions, the same answers, as this thing will linger on. And you just wonder when that would actually take place and how it would affect him playing basketball games.
I just love the demonstration of how you check the basketball. That's just like the fact that was part of the court proceedings just makes me laugh. Like it just brought a basketball in there. We have to do the demonstration of this is how we check the basketball. This is how we pull up our pants. Like,
but when you play ball, don't you? When you check, don't you do a bounce pass?
Sometimes you do a bounce pass. Sometimes you. It's a chest pass.
I would never do a chest pass. I would always do a bounce pass. But they were doing chest passes, right?
When
they were
you're
demonstrating.
mad, you do a chest pass.
Yes, I guess when you're pissed, you do. And you do a hard chest pass.
When the tempers get flaring, you do a chest pass.
And according to court records, Ja was saucing them up. So yeah, I would be mad too. I would be mad too, man.
They should ask for a demonstration of trash talk. Can you give us an example of what trash talk is?
That is, I saw it, like that's just hilarious to me that's their thing, folks. We got a move coming up. You want to make sure you get the professionals to help you with that move. You don't want to try and do it yourself. You don't want your friends to help you. Get the professionals on your side. The right professionals are Black Tie Moving. Give the folks at Black Tie Moving a call. They will make sure your belongings get where they're going without any issues. They will take care of whatever it is you need to be taken care of. They'll do as much, really, or as little as you want them to do. That's what they do. They work with you, coming up with a plan that fits exactly what you need and what you want from them. They're going to fit your budget as well. Plus, they give you that no obligation quote up front so you know exactly what it's going to cost. Whether you're moving across town or across country, it doesn't matter. You want to make sure you get professionals like the folks at Black Tie Moving. All you got to do is give them a call, 901-316-6196, or you can go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. Get that personal, no obligation quote from the professionals at Black Tie Moving.
More from the NBA later on, plus college basketball news. But when we turn our attention to college football. We'll be joined by Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers Stay Hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. I like putting parlay bets together, hammering the overs, and anytime player touchdown bets always have me on the edge of my seat. So if you're ready to do the same, visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame money line wager required. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. It expires 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
With the holiday season upon us, the increase in travel, shopping, and connecting online can significantly increase the opportunity for identity theft. Helping protect your identity and finances with LifeLock can lower the risk of identity thieves from draining your accounts, opening new loans in your name, damaging your financial future. LifeLock detects and alerts you to threats you might overlook during the busy holiday season. But if you do experience ID theft, a U.S.-based restoration specialist dedicated to your case will provide expert-level service to help resolve the issue on your behalf. And all plans are backed by the LifeLock $1 Million Protection Package, with stolen fund reimbursement up to the limits of your plan. So join LifeLock today. Save up to 25% off your first year. Go to LifeLock.com, promo code HERD, H-E-R-D, LifeLock.com, promo code HERD. Save 25% your first year. LifeLock, identity theft protection starts here.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Sports 56 traffic brought to you by Curfew.
Enjoy the ultimate dining experience at Curfew. Tuesday is Ladies' Night with $8 Cosmos, lemon drops, and daiquiris. Curfew American Tavern Craft Cocktails, your new destination. 164 Union Avenue, main floor of the Canopy Hotel.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning in the Midtown area. They're still working this accident. It's over to the side, just a lot of rubbernecking going on. 240 northbound at South Parkway. It's got traffic really slow between Norris and South Parkway going northbound on 240. They continue to work on this situation over here on 240 West. That off-ramp's been closed there at Lamar for quite some time. It's building pretty good with some volume. 385 Billmore Parkway up to 240. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in the Memphis area. Call Tomahawk Crane and Rigging at 423 area code 602. 5438. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour number one here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Tuesday, December 12th, 2023 edition. It is time now to talk some college football with Connor O'Gara.
It's time to talk some SEC and college football. Joining Greg and Eli is Connor O'Gara from SaturdayDownSouth.com and SaturdayTradition.com. Here's Connor O'Gara with Greg and Eli.
He, in fact, is the senior national columnist for Saturday Down South, the host of the Saturday Down South podcast. He joins us every other week to talk some college football. This is all year long. He's Connor O'Gara. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. How are you, Connor?
Gentlemen, doing really well. It's a busy time of year, despite the fact that we don't have games to look forward to. It's weird to not have a Saturday full of college football, but all is good. It feels like there's a lot happening in our world.
We haven't spoken since the committee announced the 4 playoff teams, and I don't want to dwell too much longer on this. We made it pretty clear, Eli and myself, and our opinions about Florida State not getting in, but you have the forum, my friend, for a few seconds here. How did you think they did as far as that's concerned?
I thought they failed. I thought that this should have come down to not Florida State versus Alabama, but Florida State versus Texas. And if you tell me that games have to matter, I would agree with you. I would say Alabama beating the 2-time defending national champs who had an SEC record 29-game winning streak, I would say that game mattered. I would say beating them at a neutral site mattered more than a Week 2 game against Texas. Wherein, if we're going to talk about Florida State being a totally different team, we should probably also talk about Alabama being a totally different team. And if Alabama had the better resume overall than Texas in every other area besides the head-to-head, then that's supposed to matter. But I digress. Florida State has every right to feel like it got a raw deal. I think it's an even worse deal than 2004 Auburn, who didn't get to play for a national championship when there was only, obviously, the BCS that awarded 2 teams, but there were 2 undefeated teams. And 2 teams that were ranked 1 and 2, USC and Oklahoma, from wire to wire that year. And Auburn was just the odd team out after starting unranked. So it was a little bit different. Auburn winning their bowl game, Oklahoma getting blown out in the national championship changed our perspective. But I would still say this Florida State team got the rawest of deals, way worse than 2017 UCF. And if Florida State beats Georgia in that bowl game, we're going to have a claimed national championship. So we need to get ready for that.
Of course, we'll see who plays in that game, too. And a lot of these bowl games, we'll see who actually plays in these games. What about the Heisman Trophy? Any surprise at all for you?
I thought the surprise was that it was as close as it's been since 2018. And look, I voted Jaden Daniels 1. I have Michael Penix Jr. at 2 and Bo Nix at 3. So I guess I'm in line with a consensus thought. I'm surprised that Jaden Daniels didn't get more first-place votes. And then again, maybe I probably, surprised is the wrong word, I probably just overlooked how confident I felt in what he did in a 12-game sample size to have 10.7 yards per play. I mean, C.J. Stroud led America in that stat last year, and he was a full 2 yards less in that. I mean, the guy has the best quarterback rating in college football history. To have 50 touchdowns pre-Heisman and to do so without even a conference championship game, I mean, it is the stuff of legend. And I had Jaden Daniels as the number 3 Heisman season of the 14 playoff era, behind only Lamar Jackson and then obviously Joe Burrow. Like, I think it was that good. So I guess I'm saying I'm surprised that so many people thought that Michael Penix Jr. was even better for what he did, obviously beating Oregon twice and beating them for a second time in the Pac-12 championship carried a lot of weight. But I didn't think the vote would be as close as it was. But I thought ultimately we as voters got it right.
What did you think of what Charlie Baker had to say, the NCAA president, and what he hopes to get ratified as far as some pretty drastic changes to NIL, which will affect the rich? The schools with the deeper pockets, I think, will be more on board than teams that can't afford what he has proposed.
Good luck. Good luck. I applaud anyone who's trying to regulate NIL, but I don't know how you're going to enforce these things. I really don't. That to me is where I come back to. Is like, as much as everybody is saying, oh, we're pushing for federal legislation here, we're trying to get this done there. I'm like, are you really going to control those conversations that aren't happening in your plain sight? Mm-hmm. And are you really going to have the time to be able to investigate that every one of these conversations? No, like. So to me, I'm just not holding my breath on radical changes. Now, whether or not you can enforce those things with universal approval, I think that's a different discussion entirely. You will be able to enforce some of it, but no, to me, I'm not bracing for any radical changes despite what somebody is proposing and what somebody is saying is going to happen.
So even though it's pretty crazy right now, you'd rather keep it with the collectives rather than the schools dealing one-on-one with the actual athletes?
Yeah, I mean, because I don't think there's a whole lot of difference. I don't think there's a whole lot of difference in the schools handling those, because I think you would still, like, okay, so you're going to need boosters here, boosters there. Like, boosters are the ones that are financing these head coaching contracts, so why would I assume that schools wouldn't have some sort of outside funding? And there's probably ways that you can get around this still. So as much as we're talking about, the pay for player and all those different things, like, I just don't think that we're that far off of it right now. So to me, it might look different in writing, and it might give people something less to complain about, but I don't think the enforcement will line up with how stringent some of these rules might appear to be on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's like the last ditch effort to just kind of at least get the control back to the schools, because like the money's still going to come from the same sources. It's just going to go through a different path to get there.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And to me, like, am I okay with that? Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent. When people who don't follow college football closely, for example, I had my mom and her fiance in town over the weekend, and I'm telling them about some of these head coaching buyouts, and she's like, "Oh my God, like, how can these schools afford to pay these?" I'm like, "Well, you know what? As long as rich people on the back end have this kind of money and they're willing to spend it, then that's just what the market dictates." And I was getting into the conversation about NIL, and I was like, if the market says that they can afford to pay someone this much money to walk away, or this much money in NIL, then they're just going to do it. And I've kind of resigned myself to that. And that's kind of the way that a capitalist economy works in college athletics, whether people want to admit it or not. It's very much a capitalist world.
Do you think there's any chance at all that guys like Marvin Harrison Jr. will stay in college because of the NIL money? For a guy like that who's going to be a top 5 pick?
No, I think that's no. To me, like, in that's where market correction I actually think will come in. I don't think those $20 million rumors are true. I
can't imagine it being true.
There's no way. I mean, there's absolutely no way. And I know somebody can float this out there and say, like, oh, he's really considering if he gets the right NIL package. And I'm not saying that there won't be cases of guys who are on the fence about both, who are like, well, there's more upside in being able to come back to school. Like, that definitely exists. But for the guys who are going to be a potential top 5 pick to get $15 to $20 million to come back for a year, I don't think those cases exist. I think it's different if we're talking about Carson Beck, and I think it was Dog Nation who had, Carson Beck would like to get $4 million to come back. And if that's the conversation that's being had for a guy who, has risen up draft boards, but would still have probably a lot of questions about him in the pre-draft process, that's a little bit different. I shouldn't say a little bit. That's way different to me than Marvin Harrison Jr., who is going to be probably the first non-quarterback selected in the NFL draft, who can go anywhere he wants and is clearly NFL ready without really much question. I think those are two different discussions. I don't think it'll have as much of an impact as some are projecting.
The Memphis Grizzlies recently played the Minnesota Timberwolves. Mike Conley is on the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I go way back with Conley from his days here in Memphis, so I was talking to him before the game, and I asked him about that Marvin Harrison. I said, gosh, there's rumors swirling about $20 million, and he looked at me and said, there's no way. I mean, this is an NBA player, obviously, who's kind of tuned into Ohio State pretty well, and he can't even imagine. I can't even imagine that kind of money, even though we're talking about crazy amounts now that these players are able to get through NIL. That just seems ludicrous, that type of money, because, I can't even see deep-pocketed boosters going that far to keep the kid for another year. So I'd be incredibly surprised and really
And here's
shocked.
the question. Can I ask this? So Marvin Harrison Jr. this year, Heisman finalist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if he had a Devontae Smith 2020 type season, is that worth $20 million? I don't think so. Not for Ohio State. I don't think that would make as drastic of a difference there. And that's, to me, why I don't think there's any world in which somebody is willing to pay that kind of money for 1 year, when there's also the possibility a guy could get hurt and pull the Nick Bosa card. Nick Bosa, who got hurt early in the year, he's kind of like the first opt-out. If you go back to that 2018 season when he gets hurt against TCU, and he doesn't play the rest of the year. So, like, to me, I just don't see any way in which that happens.
Yeah, and especially if it's not a quarterback. You mentioned the quarterbacks, and more likely they'll get the bulk of the money, but $20 million, that seems crazy. All right, as far as the coaching moves that have been made to this point, I believe, I'm trying to remember when we last had you on, I think you were talking already about Mike Elko at Texas A&M, but some other moves that have been made, anything that rattles your chain?
I like Manny Diaz at Duke. I think Manny Diaz is a good coach who was in a really tough spot at Miami with what they had in trying to go after Mario Cristobal. And I think Manny Diaz is one of those guys that's going to bounce back on his feet. And I understand, look, it's Duke. Mike Elko, Steve Spurrier, Dave Cutcliffe for a little bit. That's it in terms of Duke's success in the last, 4 decades. And so I understand he's facing a really tall task. And in this day and age, I think the Dukes and the Vanderbilts of the world are in such a tough spot with how one way the transfer portal feels and how tough it is to be able to get some of those kids in there and get their credits to transfer over. I think that is such a difficult thing to have to deal with, and it's part of the reason why I'm looking at Vandy going, Vandy might just never have a prayer, and they're building this new stadium to just lose every SEC game that they play in it. I mean, I truly think that, even though I like Clark Lee, but I wonder about that with these programs. But I like the Manny Diaz move, and I like Colin Klein getting the OC job at A&M. I thought that was a fantastic hire by Mike Elko to get Colin Klein to leave his alma mater as one of the best offensive play callers in college football. I think he's going to work wonders at A&M.
It is funny because, Duke has had the seasons here and there. Like Northwestern has the seasons here and there. Vanderbilt doesn't have those. I mean, Franklin, I guess James Franklin had, he got to 9 wins.
Yeah, he had a few good seasons.
But, in the SEC, they're just they don't ever, it's never happening.
Yeah, it's a different era, too. Look at Vanderbilt's roster. I was reading a story in the Tennessean, 12 of their 22 starters from the regular season finale aren't going to be back next year. They already know that, either because they entered the transfer portal. They had 8 starters enter the transfer portal. They had 3 quarterbacks that already entered the portal. They don't have any quarterbacks left. They have their starting receivers, Will Shepard, London Humphreys. London Humphreys looks like he's going to end up going to Georgia. Jaden McGowan is in the transfer portal. They lost their top running back. They lost their top defensive lineman who's already going to USC. They lost guys and guys and guys. They either lost them to the transfer portal, retiring from football, running out of eligibility, or declaring for the NFL draft. That's 12 of their 22 starters, and that's for a year 3 Clark Lee coach team. I just think Vandy is just in a spot where there's nothing they're going to be able to do unless they wildly lower their academic standards and they take a page out of the Duke basketball playbook or something. I just don't see any way in which it can happen.
Well, I know it's not as bad as Vanderbilt, but it doesn't look promising for Arkansas. And I'll tell you why. They went out and they got Boise State quarterback Talon Green, which tells me then that I believe the KJ Jefferson rumor, which has not been, I guess, announced anything officially by him on social media, that he's hit the portal. Now, if they're keeping him, that's a different story. But if they're losing him, the Rocket Sanders has already jumped into the portal. I don't see much hope for Arkansas. And then, of course, you got Texas and Oklahoma joining the conference. But they did yesterday announce that Talon Green has signed out of the portal from Boise State, which tells me again that more than likely they're losing Jefferson.
That's really bad. And the problem right now is that you need to be hosting these quarterbacks on recruiting visits. If you're waiting, that market is going to thin out in a hurry. If you're Sam Pittman and your job security is dependent on getting that offense right after it was so unbelievably wrong this past season with the Dan Enos hire, then you need to get your quarterback now. You cannot wait post-spring. There are very few coaches who have gone after a post-spring quarterback and have been able to save their job. Ed Orgeron with Joe Burrow comes to mind in 2018. That is the exception. That is not the rule. If Sam Pittman is waiting to get his quarterback because of this KJ Jefferson thing, then there's only so much you can do. So it's good that you at least add depth and give yourself a little bit of insurance policy. That's probably not going to be their last move in the quarterback market if KJ is in the portal. That's what I would expect. It is a daunting task what he is facing after some of the players that they have lost. Chris Paul Jr. as well, a guy that they lost in their defense that was looking like he was going to be a key player coming back for him. Yeah, there is a narrow path for these 4 SEC programs that I think with coaches that are entering the hot seat who have lost some pretty big-time players already in the early part of the portal.
Want to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas, which is Monday the 25th. Hopefully you'll be able to get on here with us on Tuesday the 26th. If not, we'll try to schedule you for sometime that week, because I want to get, obviously, your thoughts on the bowl games, the big bowl games, the playoffs as well. That would be the next time we're scheduled to talk to you, Connor. So, again, have a happy holiday. Merry Christmas to you, and hopefully we'll talk that week, if not that Tuesday, one of the other days that week, as we get your predictions for the bowl season.
Gentlemen, you too, really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a safe and happy holiday season. Yes, let's mark it down now. We can make Tuesday the 26th happen. Christmas we take off, Christmas Eve obviously, but no, 26th we're back at it. We got bowl season in full swing.
You're the man. Thank you, Connor.
Thanks, Connor.
Appreciate it, guys.
Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South, their senior national columnist, host of the Saturday Down South podcast. We got breaking news from the University of Memphis. We'll give you the details when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Want to do something you can't do anywhere else? Join me in Sports 56 at Top Gun Memphis Thursday, 11 to 1, and shoot for free when you mention Sports 56. While you're there, buy the ultimate Christmas gift, the fully automatic machine gun package for only $89. That includes 3 different machine guns, ammo, range safety officer, and the shooting lane, man, all for just $89. See you Thursday at Top Gun Memphis, Witten Road, with machine gun package and Liberty Bowl ticket giveaways, TopGunMemphis.com. Try it, shoot it, buy it.
Do you have equipment taking up space in your shed or on your lot? What do you do if those pieces are really big? Ever wondered their value? Purple Wave Auction is an online auction company that sells used equipment. Thousands of items are up for bid right now at purplewave.com. Our transparent auction process makes it easy to sell that Kenworth semi you have sitting behind the barn. Or how about an upgrade to your New Holland Workmaster? Take a moment and check out purplewave.com. Purple Wave Auction, straight, simple, sold.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Merry Christmas from Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. We're here to make your holiday season extra cozy and cheerful. For the first 50 customers who purchase a new Carrier system or tankless water heater, we have a special gift for you. Choose from a free 75-inch smart TV, a PlayStation 5, an Xbox X, a Nintendo Switch, or a $500 gift card on us. It's our way of spreading holiday joy. But hurry, this festive offer will only last through December 24th. Enjoy a comfortable Christmas and a special present from Choate's. Because when you choose us, you're not just a customer, you're family. Schedule your free estimate today at 901-347-8086. Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Let our family serve your family this holiday season. Wishing you a warm and joyful Christmas from Choate's.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday, baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday. Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got a little change in my pocket going jingle-lang-a-lang.
We were talking in our first segment about Naquan Tomlin being at the Grizzlies game last night in town, visiting the University of Memphis, had just been recently released by Kansas State, had been suspended this year following an arrest for disorderly conduct back in October, and he is graduating or has graduated. I'm trying to get confirmation on if it's already happened or it happens next week, I thought I read. But Tomlin, according to reports this morning, has committed to the University of Memphis. This is a talented player, 6'10", averaged last year 10.4 points per game, 5.9 rebounds per game. Again, several reports out there that have Naquan Tomlin committing to the University of Memphis, which brings up a couple of things. Number one, when would he be eligible to play? And it seems like it would be immediately after the official graduation. And second of all, does this now spell the end of the Jordan Brown era? Short-lived, because the rumors have been that Jordan Brown will not play the rest of this season. There was one outlet that reported that, not confirmed by Penny Hardaway. Coach Hardaway, after the win at Texas A&M on Sunday, saying that he believed Jordan Brown was still ill. But if you're bringing in a 6'10" center and you already have Malcolm Dandridge on the team, I don't believe Jordan Brown will be a part of that team. Again, that's just speculation on my part. Nothing official yet. But again, big news, once again, Penny Hardaway looking at the transfer portal, looking at players that are available and being able to get these players into Memphis. And normally when he gets them into Memphis, he finishes the deal. So here we go.
Yeah, I don't really remember Tomlin from the Elite Eight run last year by Kansas State, but he put up good numbers in the NCAA tournament. Certainly good numbers throughout the year. Some interesting stuff about his dismissal from Kansas State. I believe it was the university president who made that decision. And when he kind of addressed it, he put it out that it wasn't just the one incident. Like, he talked about the pattern, like the totality of behavior of a student athlete. So I don't know. He was the main incident was a bar fight. The interesting thing about that is, I believe from Jason Munn's story, he got diversion for that incident. So
I know where you're going. Where you're going with this.
If you are willing to take one guy who is on diversion for an incident, does that mean you're willing to take another guy who's on diversion for an incident?
Here's the other thing. Two things. First of all, athletic
Mikey
director
Williams, if you ain't following along.
Yes. I knew you were going there. Athletic director Gene Taylor of Kansas State explained the dismissal when this occurred. Here was his quote back when he was dismissed last week, I believe, right? We have heard the concerns and the questions from K-State fans and friends around Naquan Tomlin's indefinite suspension from the men's basketball team. Situations like these are difficult. We know you want answers, but federal privacy laws largely prohibit the university and K-State athletics from publicly discussing specific information around circumstances like this. And then he goes on to talk about the laws in place to protect the players and all this stuff, or protect humans.
The president,
people.
The president of the university said, when decisions like this are made a range of factors are considered, including the entire history of a student-athlete's behavior. So he is basically hinting as if this wasn't just about the bar fight. There have been apparently, I guess, maybe some other things that have happened that led to them making this decision to dismiss him.
Well, it's pretty obvious that Coach Hardaway is willing to give players second and third opportunities, second and third chances. I have no issues with that as long as the school is on board, and I'm sure the school is on board with this. I mean, Penny pretty much does what Penny does, right? What he wants done, but I guess everything still has to funnel through the athletics director, Laird Veach. But we talked last year about Ole Miss going out there and getting Chris Beard, right? Even though all the charges were dropped on Chris Beard, there was obviously that baggage. And I said here, I thought it was a great hire. Yeah, I mean, you may have a problem, but as far as the bottom line is, this guy is a great X's and O's coach, and he's going to do well. And right now, Ole Miss is undefeated. And that shouldn't be the end-all, be-all, just what the guy can do as a coach or what this player can do on the court. Obviously, they have to be somewhat upstanding citizens and good people. Now, again, an incident or two, if it happens, and you're willing to give those people second chances, I understand. Now, we're not talking about murder. We're not talking about that. Now, with Mikey Williams, it's a different situation. However, his felony charge, which right now is not standing, right? We had the defense attorney call in to our show to explain that to us. It's not actually there. It's the diversion, like you said. And officially, as long as he does everything he's supposed to do, laid out by the judge, he will turn that felony into a misdemeanor. And if you got a misdemeanor, then I think there's no question that Coach Hardaway and other coaches would give those people, the player in this situation, a second chance. So there's going to be criticism of Coach Hardaway for going out there and take. But we've seen it in collegiate sports many times, over and over again. It's happened before at the University of Memphis, where players have been, whether it be football players, whether it be basketball players, whether it be other athletes, that they may have had a troubled past, or it may have not worked out at a different school, and they're given that second opportunity, or maybe even that third opportunity at Memphis or wherever it may be. I mean, again, I'm all for it. If you don't want to put young men and women out the pasture early in their careers if they've made mistakes. Now, if it's a continual thing and these people are just bad people, that's a whole different ballgame. But I think I can understand, going out and grabbing a player of this stature, even though it comes with some incidents and a checkered past, that you hope that the young man has turned around things and is willing to stay on the straight and narrow. But Penny Hardaway right now is working on trying to put together a national championship team. And again, I go back to what I said about the Jordan Brown thing. This doesn't bode well as far as that's concerned. We got to take a break. We'll come back. We'll continue this conversation to open up hour number 2. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I know we say it all the time. Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown bar, is not a sports bar. It's a bar that happens to have sports on the high-def TVs. You know what a great bar Bell Tavern is. You know how great the signature cocktails are. You know how amazing the food is. And all that is what makes Bell Tavern such a great bar. But what sports we have on those TVs this month? If you love college basketball, the NFL, the Grizzlies, and college football, well, for this month, you can pretend Bell Tavern is a sports bar. A very civilized sports bar.
While interest rates are on the rise everywhere else, at Genesis Diamonds, we've got just the relief you need this holiday season. 5 years, 0 interest on anything and everything. That's right. Genesis is rolling back interest rates to 0.0%. So that $5,000 diamond ring is yours for just $85 a month. Nothing's held back. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, certified natural diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, even luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Just pick any item for that special someone and spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. A $10,000 designer ring comes to just $167 a month. Don't miss this incredible offer. Where else in America can you get financing for 0%? Colored gemstones, designer fashion jewelry, the year's most treasured gifts, all included in this once-a-year offer. At Genesis, we're breaking all the rules to make sure this holiday season your money goes farther. Best prices, unbeatable selection, highest quality, and super aggressive financing. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended. On approved credit, see store for details.
The season has changed. You know how I know? It's finally here, the Family Leisure Christmas Sale. Excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboards, and saunas. Oh, we're just beginning. Tired and sore from shopping? Check out the huge selection in stock of hot tubs and massage chairs. Oh, and you can surprise the kids with the best stuff, like a new arcade, a game table, even a play gym. Gifts for the whole family to enjoy and enjoy together. Also on sale, theater seating, outdoor kitchens and grills, patio furniture, and fire pits. Merry Christmas from our family to yours. That's Family Leisure of Memphis. Every year we wait. They always deliver. They've done it again. The Family Leisure Christmas Sale is happening at I-40 and Whitten Road. That's 2120 Whitten Road to be exact. That's the place of shopping heaven. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together.
All 650 acquisition fees. Sportage R723 5498 MSRP 28940. Sorrento PG 424 MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462822 MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hey, my man Jeff Allen, what's going on for the holidays over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
It's the season of giving back at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, and I've got your holiday presents right here.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
Award-winning SUV 2024 Kia Sportage LX, $299 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sorrento LX, perfect for your road trips, $329 a month. And the 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we got it at $459 a month, all 36-month lease.
Well, you can't get much better than that, Jeff. And all Kias come with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. And from all of us at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah, happy holidays.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Sports 56 traffic brought to you by Curfew.
Enjoy the ultimate dining experience at Curfew. Tuesday is Ladies' Night with $8 Cosmos, lemon drops, and daiquiris. Curfew American Tavern Craft Cocktails, your new destination. 164 Union Avenue, main floor of the Canopy Hotel.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still see some flashing lights on the scene of an earlier wreck over here with some minor injuries. American Way at Cherry Road. It's trying to improve a bit up through the Midtown area from the earlier collision on 240 northbound at South Parkway. Again, it's still a little bit of rubbernecking going on up through that section of Midtown. It's building pretty good over here on the Interstate 40 westbound, especially between Germantown Parkway all the way up to Sycamore View Road. Again, that's going westbound. It's really saturated with a lot of volume. Weimer's Jewelry. They're located 7525 Highway 64. Shop local this holiday season. Save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 8:07 already, and a tremendously busy morning. Hour 2 of the program on this Tuesday, December 12th, 2023. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, their Christmas sale continues at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently sunny and 34 degrees. Showers are possible this morning. Partly cloudy this afternoon, but a high getting up to 60. Then tonight, cold with a low of 39 degrees. Second hour of the program brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. I'll tell you more about that in just a few moments, but it is Tuesday. It's time for Humdinger's Trivia.
That's right. Every Tuesday, it's Humdinger's Trivia, and every Tuesday, it's Taco Tuesday at Humdinger's. That means their chicken and fish tacos are just $2 each all day, each and every Tuesday, so you can go enjoy some of those at a great price. Of course, other than the tacos, all kinds of other great options on that menu. Many different types of grilled fish options that you could choose from, including some great toppings and great sides as well. You've also got the crispy fish and chips and the new specials on that each and every Friday. That you can get a great deal there. Got the Humdinger shrimp, which is a fantastic little appetizer, or some people eat that as their full meal. You can just throw a skewer of shrimp on there with maybe one of those grilled fish options. You got plenty of chicken items on the menu as well. Salads, sandwiches, all kinds of fantastic stuff over at Humdinger's, located at Poplar and Massey in the shopping center. They're kind of in the back corner of the shopping center. That's where you'll find Humdinger's. That's where you're going to find all that delicious food. You could also find it maybe at a holiday party or something. If you need catering done, talk to the folks at Humdinger's. They can certainly take care of you when it comes to catering any party that you have. They will take care of that. If you are the first to answer today's trivia question correctly, well, then you'll get a $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's, and you can answer via text 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. Text in those answers, and again, the first correct answer will get a $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's. And here is today's question. Last night, Jaren Jackson Jr. had a big night for the Memphis Grizzlies as he went for 41 points. It was his third career 40-point game for the Grizzlies. What other players have had multiple 40-point games in a Grizzlies uniform? Which other Grizzlies players have had multiple 40-point games? And I will give you the clue. There are 3 of them.
Okay.
So there needs to be 3 names on your answer. There are 3 guys, other than Jaren, who have had multiple 40-point games in a Grizzlies uniform. 901-360-8255. 901-360-8255. First correct answer gets that $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's.
And just to finish up a little house cleaning before we get back into the breaking news of the morning, 5 favorite things for tomorrow. Your 5 favorite mobster movies, but it could be more than just the mafia. It could be the cartel, whatever you want. I'm a little lenient as far as that's concerned. So 5 favorite mobster movies for tomorrow's 5 favorite things. The breaking news in the last hour has been, according to several reports, the commitment of Naquan Tomlin to the University of Memphis, who is graduating from Kansas State. He is a midseason transfer. He was at the Grizzlies game last night as he was being entertained by the University of Memphis. He was just released recently by Kansas State. He was suspended for the start of this season and then subsequently released for an incident at a bar. But as Eli said towards the end of the first hour, there's a lot of stories out there about possibly numerous things that occurred to make the decision to release this player who is a talented player, 6'10" big man, who averaged last year 10.4 points per game, 5.9 rebounds per game. Again, the particulars, don't know everything about when he would be eligible to play and all that good stuff, but we know that Memphis is getting ready to entertain nationally ranked, in fact 13th ranked Clemson on Saturday. They got some big non-conference games to close out the month of December, and then it's all about the conference and getting ready for the NCAA tournament. David Jones, by the way, yesterday named the American Conference Player of the Week. And if you are bringing in a 6'10" center and you already have a Malcolm Dantridge, it tells you, at least it tells me, that the days seem to be numbered for Jordan Brown, and maybe that report that did come out that has not been substantiated by anyone other than the original reporter was that Jordan Brown was done for the year. And Coach Hardaway on Sunday after the win at Texas A&M said as far as he knew, it was still an illness. It does not seem like that maybe is the case. Again, you're bringing in a guy like this who I would assume just has this one final year of eligibility left as he's a graduate, then it does appear that Jordan Brown's days would be numbered. So it's huge news for the University of Memphis. It's very interesting news, to say the least, because this is a kid, again, who was just kicked off the team.
Yeah, again, who knows what all those circumstances were. Kansas State felt that was the way to go with him, but I'm assuming that Penny and the folks at the University of Memphis have done their due diligence as far as all that is concerned, and feel comfortable with him coming in here. A lot of people have said that he fits kind of better what the Tigers want to do than what Jordan Brown does. Certainly, the Tigers want to get up and down the court, which I don't think suits Jordan Brown all that well. So, obviously, he was part of a Kansas State team that made a nice run last year in the NCAA tournament. He was very good in the NCAA tournament last year. Good numbers overall. So certainly it would appear to be a guy that can come in and help right away as soon as he is eligible. And how quickly that process can happen, I don't know how that works exactly, and how quickly a guy can be enrolled and satisfy all those things. But yeah, I mean, he could be playing here, I guess, in the very near future.
Yeah, and we have Jeff Crane coming on at 8:25, but again, unless the school makes it official, I don't know what he can say, but maybe he can give us just the details of a student athlete and eligibility and when they can play and that kind of stuff. Again, information that I'm not privy to, but maybe he can shed some light as far as that's concerned. Adam Zagoria, friend of the show, who covers the collegiate scene and recruiting in the New York area, says nice get for Memphis basketball, as Tomlin comes from the New York area, in fact, from Harlem. In the tournament run for Kansas State, he averaged 12.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 blocks a game. A very active defensive player and a guy who can score the basketball down low. So, again, very interesting turn of events here as far as the big man is concerned for the University of Memphis. If you want to chime in, 360-8255, 901-360-8255. Melvin is first. Hi, Melvin.
Hey, good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Yeah. Okay, like Eli, we all remember watching Kansas State, but we were just like focused on the guard.
Yeah.
So we don't just remember. So, so I went back and looked at some highlight, boy. He kind of similar to like a more athletic DeAndre Williams, but I'm seeing reports, some saying, I see like Mom saying like, he got to dot the I's and T's for all the paperwork, and he'll be eligible soon. And I think some people saying it'll be like a conference call like in January. So, like I said, I don't know how that situation goes. He hadn't played a game and he graduated, so I thought he was like automatically eligible.
Yeah, thank you, Melvin. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, what everything I've read so far is, I don't know if he's graduated yet, officially gotten his diploma. Has that happened yet, or is it happening next week?
Well, I don't know what their school, whenever their semester ends, a lot of schools are already done. So I would assume these probably already, most are done at this point. I think that some are taking finals this week. So I don't know what Kansas State's calendar is. I would assume that he's not taking finals this week since he was in the University of Memphis yesterday.
Yep. I would think that, I don't even know when he can actually practice with the team. I can't imagine that you're just going to insert this guy right away. I mean, you have to, first of all, get him eligible, right? As Melvin said, got to dot the I's, cross the T's, get that all official. Then get acclimated with the new teammates, practice, figure out how he works into the whole system. You don't want to uproot a whole system that has already been implemented and you're playing incredibly well. You just want to add. You want to add to that, and that's what they'll do. So you got Clemson on Saturday. That's not going to happen. You have Virginia next Tuesday. You got Vanderbilt coming up before Christmas, Austin Peay on the 30th, and then you turn into conference play after the 1st of January. My guess would be that if everything goes according to plan, maybe Austin Peay to get an opportunity to get your feet wet before conference play begins. I can't imagine that he's going to be rushed into anything, especially, again, with you don't want to chance chemistry with the team and mess that up right now.
I mean, there's a need for a big man. If Jordan Brown is indeed gone, there's a need for a big man. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they rush him onto the court.
Well, you have Dandridge, and that's a good thing to have is to have that guy available to you, whether it's a backup role or whether it's a starting role. And he started in the game at Texas A&M with no Jordan Brown. But again, we have not heard word one from Penny on the Jordan Brown situation. I'm sure we will get more clarity coming up when they have the next media availability sometime this week leading up to the Clemson game.
A couple people say that they had their graduation on Saturday, so he graduated on Saturday.
That he just graduated? Okay. So that's step one. Graduation, boom, now eligible. He can play immediately because he is now a graduate transfer. So once again, he becomes enrolled in Memphis classes. And again, the semester is winding down, if not wrapped up for the University of Memphis. Zach, do you have any idea if the semester is, I know you're done, but when the semester finishes up for Memphis?
Yes, right now it's exam time.
So it's final week for that. It's supposed to be either been finals last week or finals this week.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, I don't know. Technically, we'll talk to Jeff Crane about that as far as when a student athlete can become eligible at the end of a semester. Do they have to wait through the end of the exams once the semester is done and then he joins for the second semester technically? I would imagine that that's the case, but we'll try to get some clarification on that. Keith is dialed in. Hi, Keith.
Hey. Zach, Eli.
How are you?
How y'all doing?
Good.
Greg? All right. So the three still concern me. I mean, they do. And Memphis got hot against Texas A&M. But they do have a lockdown defense, but I still say the missing piece is the big man down low. Every team that wins a national champ has a big man down low.
You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah. That's all I want to say.
All right, Keith, thank you very much. Yeah, if you listen to our show, I've been pretty adamant about the big man, and that's why they went out and they got Jordan Brown. Right? They figured they had that situation settled. Unfortunately, Jordan Brown has not played the way they expected him to play or that we expected him to play. A passive Jordan Brown, a guy that big, you expect him to be more aggressive. He was not, whatever the case was. And whether or not he was legitimately sick, he did not go to VCU. He did not travel with the team to Richmond. And he was not with the team at Texas A&M. Again, Malco has done an admirable job, but you can't depend on Malco to go 30 minutes every game with the knees and the history and the motor that's not always revved up to the full capacity, but at times he has played spectacularly, and he has done a really good job. He fouled out, unfortunately, in 12 minutes against A&M? Got 7 boards during the time he was in there, but he fouled out. So to bring in a guy like this kid who can play both ends and can give you a lot more offensively, it's a coup. It's certainly a feather in the cap for Penny Hardaway to be able to turn that kid into a Tiger that quickly, again, according to reports, after just being released from Kansas State and just jumping into the portal where a lot of schools looked in. Now, there's probably schools that looked at him and said, I don't know, he comes with some baggage. We're not going to go in that direction. But other schools, and I'm sure there's been numerous amounts that have reached out to him that certainly wanted to take a look at the kid. And Penny has not shied away from some kids that have had some situations in their past and is willing to give the second and third chances. And I admire that. I really do, from Penny Hardaway. If anybody can get you straightened out, it's Coach Hardaway. There's no question about it.
Sean texted, says, does former Tiger Deputy AD Adam Walker get an assist for getting the Kansas State transfer?
That's a interesting point. Yes, Adam Walker, friend of the show, now at Kansas State.
We do have a correct answer in our Humdinger's trivia. The question was, along with Jaren Jackson Jr., who last night got his third 40-plus point game, which other Grizzlies have had multiple 40-point games, and that's in their Grizzlies career. And I've told you that there were 3 of them, and yet some people only gave me 2 names. It's really bad, and you can't be right if you don't have the same amount of names as I tell you to put in then. If I tell you there's got to be 3 names and you only put 2, that's just you're wasting your own time, because that literally cannot be correct. No matter how hard you try, that can't be correct when I tell you have to have 3 names and you only have 2. But nonetheless, the 3 guys, obviously we know Ja. Ja has had the most. Ja has 8 40-point games as a Grizzly. The other 2 only have 2. So Jaren has the second most 40-point games now of any Grizzly with his third. There are 2 other guys with 2 each. Do you know who they are?
I know one is Zebo.
That would be incorrect.
Wow, Powell. That's crazy.
Powell is one of them. I don't think Zebo has a 40-point game as a Grizzly.
The other name is Mike Miller?
Mike Miller.
Yeah.
Ja, Powell, and Mike Miller are the 3 guys who have multiple. Again, Powell and Mike each have 2. Ja has 8. Jaren has 3. Yeah, I don't believe Zebo has it's funny if you look at 40-point games. I don't think, because Zebo has them for other teams, but I don't think he had one as a Grizzly. But yet Kenneth Lofton Jr. does.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
So it's a little bit bizarre. But anyway, so Zach, I do need a tiebreaker from you. I'll make it easy on you this week. I'll just go 1, 2, or 3.
2.
All right. We will be notifying our winner. Let you know how you're going to get your $25 gift certificate to Humdingers.
Second hour of the program brought to you each and every day by James Gaddis Jewelers. They are your family's jeweler at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Christmas is rapidly approaching. 13 more days. Get something special for a special loved one in your life, for multiple loved ones in your life, because everybody loves jewelry, whether it's watches of all types, rings of all styles, gemstones and bracelets, necklaces and earrings, pendants, and so much more. Plus that one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry that they're always adding to their collection. You may want to go with a family heirloom and get it customized for a whole new look. They can do that at James Gaddis Jewelers. Just head on over there and see what they can do for you. Plus, if you're looking to pop the question over the holidays, they are your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. All their diamonds are independently graded and certified. They know there's a lot of competition, which there is, so they make sure they have a price point to suit everyone's budget. Whether it's a beautiful engagement ring, a watch of any type, or any of their great jewelry, it's James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. When we come back, Jeff Crane from the University of Memphis. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Whether it's date night, a birthday, or just because, raise a steak in celebration at Ruth's Chris. Open in the Regalia Shopping Center at the corner of Poplar and Ridgeway. Treat yourself to one of our classic USDA prime beef steaks, seasoned and broiled to perfection. Then serve sizzling hot on one of Ruth's signature 500-degree plates. Visit Ruth'sChris.com to make a reservation. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Memphis. This is how celebrating more is done.
Give me liberty and give me real estate.
I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and that was Hugh Mallory. Not only does he work with me at Mark Spenstorf Realtors, he's the president of this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl. So Hugh, instead of sounding like Patrick Henry, what do you mean?
Well, Sheldon, like you, I sell real estate. I'm also privileged to serve as president of the 65th AutoZone Liberty Bowl, which will be held Friday, December 29th at 2:30. I'm able to handle all my clients, whether they're buying or selling, while participating in this great annual tradition.
Hugh, that is definitely quite an honor, and with your fabulous track record in real estate sales, I know you'll do a great job. Hugh will move you as something to remember, and you can reach Hugh Mallory at 497-9756. It's also why people often say that when you want the job done, call Shell Dunn. You can reach me, Shell Dunn Rosengarten, at 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. That's MemphisRelocate.com or 483-0546. See you at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on December 29th.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. Schedule your holiday gift deliveries today at hogsfly.com.
It's the hometown Memphis Tigers taking on Iowa State in this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Plus, Memphis music legends, the Barkays, will be there performing the music that made Memphis, and you'll want to be there too.
Everybody say, so bigger. Say, so bigger.
It's all happening Friday, December 29th at 2:30. Get your tickets today by calling the AutoZone Liberty Bowl at 795-7700. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Wrapping up the paperwork on an earlier crash we had at American Way and Cherry Road. They're still staring at that earlier wreck that should be out of there sooner than later on 240 North at South Parkway. It is really crawling on 55 northbound up towards Crump in that road construction, especially between South Parkway and Macklemore going northbound here in the construction zone. Again, it is really slow. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Memphis. Call Tomahawk Crane and Rigging at 423 area code 602-5438. Or go online to tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. It's been a busy Tuesday morning. Still to come, Zoe Goodson will join us. Aaron Torres from Fox Sports. We haven't even touched on Monday Night Football. The two games last night, both down to the wire. And the news from Shohei Ohtani's contract, what will take place as far as the Dodgers. They make out like Bandit, get a great player, and it won't crush them as far as the finances are concerned. But we got some big news from the University of Memphis. News, though, that more than likely Jeff Crane can't talk specifically about, but we got a lot of things to talk to him about. He's next. Jeff Crane from the University of Memphis.
It's time to talk Memphis Tigers athletics. Joining Greg and Eli is University of Memphis Deputy Athletics Director Jeff Crane. Here's Jeff with Greg and Eli.
It is always great to talk University of Memphis athletics with our friend Jeff Crane, who's the University of Memphis Deputy AD. You can follow him on Twitter at jcrane75. Hello, Jeff.
Good morning, guys.
Where are you, in a train?
No, I'm sorry. I'm not. But let me get on a better connection. Hang on a second.
We got you. No problems there.
How about that?
That sounds a lot better. There we go. Jeff, I'm going to hit you with a hypothetical, okay? We need clarification how it works. So a student athlete is a mid-season transfer. What happens? When are they eligible? All that good stuff. What are the details?
Yeah, there's so many things that almost seem to be unprecedented. This could be nearing one of those, but it's really hard to say because there's so many factors that come into play that are individualized. So, we're working through all scenarios, and the university decision, the NCAA is involved. There's lots of hands in that pot when these sort of things pop up. So time will tell. But it's really hard to say, kind of what step 1 through 5 is, because this is something that's new, and every circumstance is different. So the
NCAA is involved in a hypothetical situation like what we're kind of describing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not uncommon for us to have conversations with the conference and the NCAA about various scenarios to better understand what the implications are and how this may play out. Just kind of getting some counsel along the way, something that we commonly do on various issues that pop up within the department.
But theoretically, if these things could get done quickly, like you could be immediately eligible. You don't have to wait till they're in class at the University of Memphis to be able to be eligible, correct?
Typically you've got to be enrolled in school in order to be eligible to be on a roster. So I would expect that to be the same in all circumstances. But as we've learned, especially over the last several years, anything is possible, and so we'll vet every possible scenario. But under most circumstances, you've got to be enrolled in school in order to be on a roster.
Yeah, I mean, I understand enroll, but hey, here, classes don't have to start for the next semester and them actually be going to class.
No, that's correct. Yeah, that is correct. You don't necessarily have to actually be in a classroom yet. That is correct.
Once you're actually enrolled, you could theoretically be eligible.
Right, there you go. That's good. That's good clarification. So the classes don't have to have started as long as you're officially enrolled in classes, even though the classes may be 3 weeks from now or a month from now, you're fine in that scenario.
That is correct. Yeah, I mean, we see that happen. We have student athletes that come in the summer and start working out in various sports, and they may not start class until some point later in the fall or what have you. So not terribly uncommon there.
When a coach has a player that they're looking at, a student athlete that they're looking at, whether it be a transfer or what have you, how does the process work, especially with the player that is a transfer in a situation, a hypothetical situation? How do they deal, the coaches, with you guys specifically? When I say you guys, I'm talking about Laird, yourself, and the administrators, as far as all that's concerned, also to making sure there's eligibility and things of that. What type of process do we have here?
Yeah. We have as I've mentioned on the call before, we have a sport administrator that works with each one of our sports, and there's daily communication between the coaching staff and that sport administrator on a number of issues, and this would be one of those. We're working through very similar conversations with football this time of year with the transfer portal, and we're talking about various scenarios, and coaches are communicating to us various possibilities and potential concerns that they may have, and we'll bring Laird into that conversation as necessary. We bring our NCAA compliance officers into the conversation, and perhaps others at the university. We have an awesome team of folks that we work with, from admissions to the dean of students office to on down the line. It's not uncommon for us to bring a number of folks to the table, depending on the situation.
In a situation where there may be some sort of legal stuff from that past, ultimately, whose decision is it to whether that player is going to be allowed to come in and play?
Yeah, there's a process that the University of Memphis has in place, as does every university that I can think of or imagine, where there's a committee of folks that review an application and looking at backgrounds, et cetera, to ultimately determine if that student can be enrolled at the university. And that's the case for any student, not necessarily just student athletes. So there's a process that the university goes through to kind of arrive at that decision.
It has been about a month since the Memphis men's basketball team has played a home game, and there are some big ones coming up starting on Saturday with nationally ranked Clemson. Team coming off a huge win over a nationally ranked team in Texas A&M on Sunday, so I'm sure there's a lot of excited people, not only here in the city, but obviously over at the university for these games that are coming up here in the month of December.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, later today we're going to send out a map to FedEx Forum for everybody so they can remember how to get there, because it's been a little while, because it just feels like we haven't been at home in quite some time, as you had mentioned. But yeah, I mean, we've got big time basketball coming to FedEx Forum over the next week. I mean, you can't. It does not get any better than 2 out of the next 3 games against top 25 opponents. Huge opportunity for our program to take a big step in the right direction and continue the momentum that we have. And in the next 30 minutes, in fact, we're going to be launching a special for the Clemson and Virginia games. Just for 48 hours, you can get 50% off of club seats for those 2 games. So we're trying to close out the sales for Clemson and Virginia. They're both selling extremely strong. Clemson, we believe, is going to be one of the biggest crowds we've seen in the last probably 2 years. So implore everybody to get there. We need you. This is a number 13 team in the country that we're going to be facing on Saturday, and it's not nationally televised. The only way you can watch that game is on ESPN Plus, which is a great option, but an even better option is to be right there in FedEx Forum.
So you said that the thing that's coming out in the next half hour?
Yep, it'll launch at 9:00 on our website, gotigersgo.com. 50% off of club seats for Clemson and Virginia for the next 48 hours only.
So you mentioned, can you, in other places you've been, it seems like it is very strange to essentially, especially this early, but really any point, to have basically a month in between home games.
Yeah, I think sometimes the schedule just falls that way. It definitely is uncommon and probably not preferred if you were to ask Coach Hardaway, I'm sure. But I think you also look at this time of year, and folks have a little extra time potentially on their hands as the holidays approach and kids are out of school and those sort of opportunities. So we do expect big crowds over the next week for these games. So if you were going to draw it up and try to have these games on certain times, having them on Saturday afternoons like we do over the next couple Saturdays is a big opportunity.
And having them coming off of a win over a ranked team on the road to kind of build some excitement, that also helps.
No question about it. We to go into a place like Texas A&M that is a difficult place to play and win that game like we did, just great for our program and excited and for the effort that they've put in and getting that reward there in College Station on Sunday.
Yeah, if you're not excited now, I don't know when you're going to be excited, because this is a perfect opportunity. You're playing well. You got the big win on the road, and now you got, as you mentioned, back-to-back nationally ranked teams coming in. There was also the story yesterday. It was reported that the Tigers will play at San Francisco next year as they'll go out and play the Dons and then continue and travel on to Maui to play in the Maui Classic.
Yeah, it's our program is a national brand. There's no question about it, and so we field calls frequently of opportunities to play in all parts of the country against great opponents, and so we're really thankful for those opportunities and Maui is obviously one of the best in the country in terms of competition, et cetera, just like Battle for Atlantis was. So, lots of basketball to be played between now and then, but looking forward to more big-time basketball next season.
So I would assume that you guys are contacted often about these big tournaments during the holiday because you play in one every year. So I'm sure you're not calling them, they're calling you.
Yeah, there's no doubt. They absolutely call us. In fact, I think we've got the next 3 years already booked out. So, that's a great position to be in, and we're thankful to be in it.
All right, a little football, and then we'll let you go on this busy Tuesday morning. A lot of things going on. Obviously, the timing of everything is just weird. You have players that are jumping in the portal that won't play in the bowl game. Other players that are being pursued by Coach Silverfield and his staff. You got a coach that has left the team. I don't know if you were the czar of all collegiate sports, how you would have the calendar work, but it doesn't feel right. I know there's a lot of excitement, though, about the game and Memphis getting a chance to play a Big 12 team. But just everything that's going on, it seems like almost the bowl game is secondary to a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it best. It just doesn't feel right. The calendar this time of year from a football perspective just doesn't flow, and it really doesn't work for anybody. I think that's the ultimate message. The prospective student athletes don't like it. The current student athletes don't like it. The coaches don't like it. I can tell you for sure the administrators don't like it. So at some point, it feels like the calendar is gonna shift a bit because it just doesn't quite flow right. But to your point about the bowl game, we couldn't be more excited to play at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on December 29th. We're constantly looking for opportunities to play Power 5 programs at home, and we're getting that opportunity on that day. So the chance to win 10 games for I think only the fourth time in school history and do it right there at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium is a huge opportunity. We're selling thousands of tickets, and we need that place to be full of blue because, as we know from 2017, Iowa State travels really well. So we want to make sure that the Tigers are well represented. One other thing I wanted to throw out before we go, though, speaking of an opportunity for the Tigers to be well represented, we've got Mississippi State coming in on Sunday to play our women's program in El Marone Fieldhouse. So they're just outside the top 25, Mississippi State is, and we expect a lot of Bulldogs in El Marone Fieldhouse on Sunday, and I want to see a lot of blue there as well.
Yeah, Memphis picked up a great win over previously unbeaten Southern Miss, a game I was able to broadcast on Saturday. It was a really good win. So they're playing well. Their record may say 4-6, but I think they're more like a 7-3, maybe even an 8-2 team. So that should be a lot of fun on Sunday. Next week, also, I want to get your thoughts on Michael Resco's big announcement. We just plumb out of time right now. But, Jeff, as always, thank you so much. Always appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Go Tigers, go.
He's Jeff Crane, University of Memphis Deputy AD.
Well, folks, if you are heading down to the Tiger game on Saturday and maybe you want to hang around a little bit afterwards, you could do a city brew tour that night. Afterwards, a 6 o'clock tour they do on Saturday. They do at noon and 6 on Saturdays. They do 6 o'clock Thursday, 6 o'clock Friday. They also do Sunday afternoon tours as well. That's City Brew Tours. And what it is they take you, you'll go visit 3 different local breweries, get a chance to tour the brewery, see all the different things, learn about the beer making process, learn about the different types of beer, and then the best of all, you get to sample their beers. That's the key part here is you get to sample those beers at each one of the breweries. Plus, the folks at City Brew Tours have snacks and food for you to munch on throughout it. They're taking you from brewery to brewery, so you drink, they drive, works out very well. You leave from the Peabody downtown to go on these City Brew Tours. It makes a great idea for you to go out just for have a good night, good time out with some friends, or maybe a date night, but also if you've got a big party, maybe a bachelor party, maybe a birthday party, bachelorette, whatever, maybe it's a work outing, you could do private tours with big groups that they can take care of you as well. Also, makes a great holiday gift idea for somebody out there. A little something different. If you got a beer lover on that holiday list, this is a little something different that they are certainly going to enjoy. Go to citybrewtours.com/Memphis. That's citybrewtours.com/Memphis. Some of you out there may have done this in other cities. Well, it's now here in Memphis. And, of course, we've got some great local breweries making some great local beer. Again, they do it for Thursday nights, Friday nights, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. I'm going to be doing it on Saturday. Looking forward to it with City Brew Tours.
All right, when we come back, there were a few folks who wanted to chime in on the Memphis basketball news. We'll try to get to your calls here to wrap up hour number 2. Hour 3, we're busy. Zoe Goodson will join us from Rhodes, and Aaron Torres on Fox Sports Radio. He does a great job covering college basketball. We'll certainly get his thoughts on the Tomlin news as Naquan Tomlin has committed to the University of Memphis, according to several reports. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Jonah Gamble, left guard from the University of Memphis football team. Is your credit card rewarding you for everyday purchases? Southern Security has the perfect low-interest reward card that will upgrade your wallet. Max rate is 18%, no annual fees, no cash advance fees. For more information, visit southernsecurity.org or by calling our member service team at 901-452-7900. Southern Security is a proud sponsor of the University of Memphis.
The season has changed. You know how I know? It's finally here, the Family Leisure Christmas Sale. Excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboards, and saunas. Oh, we're just beginning. Tired and sore from shopping? Check out the huge selection in stock of hot tubs and massage chairs. Oh, and you can surprise the kids with the best stuff, like a new arcade, a game table, even a play gym. Gifts for the whole family to enjoy and enjoy together. Also on sale, theater seating, outdoor kitchens and grills, patio furniture, and fire pits. Merry Christmas from our family to yours. That's Family Leisure of Memphis. Every year we wait. They always deliver. They've done it again. The Family Leisure Christmas Sale is happening at I-40 and Whitten Road. That's 2120 Whitten Road to be exact. That's the place of shopping heaven. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together.
Hey, Doc, nice office. Quick question. If you had to choose, would you give yourself a root canal or run payroll?
Run payroll, no question.
Seriously? Well, have you run payroll before?
Paying my team with Gusto couldn't be easier. Gusto gives me unlimited payroll runs, next-day direct deposits, and automatically files my taxes. Saves me time.
Wow, that's nice.
Over here, Doc. Can I run payroll too?
Choose payroll without the pain. Visit gusto.com/radio to sign up for free.
Do you have equipment taking up space in your shed or on your lot? What do you do if those pieces are really big? Ever wondered their value? Purple Wave Auction is an online auction company that sells used equipment. Thousands of items are up for bid right now at purplewave.com. Our transparent auction process makes it easy to sell that Kenworth semi you have sitting behind the barn. Or how about an upgrade to your New Holland Workmaster? Take a moment and check out purplewave.com. Purple Wave Auction, straight, simple, sold.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
If you're just tuning in, Naquan Tomlin, according to reports, committing to the University of Memphis. He was with Kansas State, but suspended throughout the start of this season, 6'10" big man who was terrific for Kansas State in their NCAA tournament run. Not a ton of details, but that's what we know. And again, I think this kind of puts the whole Jordan Brown status in limbo, as there was the report several days ago that Brown will not play again for the University of Memphis. Penny Hardaway, though, has continued to say that he's been out ill as far as he knows. I'm sure we'll get more clarification in the coming days. Grizzlies, a loser last night to the Mavericks, 120-113. They fall to 6-16, 1-10 at home. They'll play at Houston tomorrow night, then host Houston on Friday. We were talking about what may happen with Bismack Biyombo and Jalen Noel. There's a tweet from Chris Harrington, who covers the Grizzlies for the Daily Memphian, and this is kind of what we were alluding to earlier. He said, under the radar, last night was probably Jalen Noel's last home game for the Grizzlies. Tomorrow night in Houston will be the last game on his current 10-day. The second half DNP last night seems to suggest they won't move mountains or Laravias to keep him. I think that'll be the case, as you and I both discussed. And as far as Biyombo, thought it was going to be a given that they'll keep him. I still think they will and let go Kenneth Lofton Jr., but that is far from an absolute. Also in the NBA last night, the streaks continue, Eli. The Pistons lose to Indiana 131-123. They have lost 20 straight, and San Antonio loses to Houston 93-82. They have lost a club record 17 straight games. So the two have combined for 37 straight losses.
It's a rough go.
I wonder if the tickets are selling briskly for when the Pistons will play the Spurs sometime in early January. I looked this up. That's got to be a sellout.
Well, if maybe both will still have their streaks going, and then one of them has to end.
Man, 20-game losing streak and a 17-game losing streak. Last night in the National Football League, two games that went down to the wire. The New York Giants beat the Green Bay Packers 24-22 as Randy Bullock kicked a 37-yard field goal at the buzzer. Saquon Barkley, couple of touchdown runs for the Giants. But the story has been Tommy DeVito. 17 of 21, $158 a touchdown, 10 rushes for 71 yards, and a agent that was on hand, his agent, right out of Central Casting in Hollywood.
I am so blown away by Tommy DeVito. Like those first couple of games he played, like when he played against the Cowboys, I was like, this dude can't play in the NFL. Like it's this dude is right now he's like that. Some of the throws he's making, like that one touchdown, like that's unbelievable last night, the throw he made in the back corner of the end zone. Like I don't know. And the celebration, the celebration is like maybe my favorite celebration in the history of sports. Like I just love that his family, they are, and with the agent, like they are, like this is true Italian stuff right here. Like this is, I'm waiting for him to like score a touchdown and pull out some like spaghetti and stuff as part of his celebration. This dude he is playing into it, but I am blown away by the fact that he has now won 3 games and how good he actually looks on this after what he looked like the first couple of games. I didn't think that dude could possibly win a football game.
Yeah,
and now here he is.
Yeah, but we're quick to rush to judgment. We all do it. I did it as well. I was like, DeVito, he doesn't even look like he belongs in the National Football League. Well, they're signed for a reason because they have something that these teams like. They don't always materialize. But look at Justin Fields now starting to play really, really well. Jordan Love looks good. How about Will Levis? I'm going to get into that in just a second. So you never know. Again, do they have lasting power as far as their skills are concerned? Is it just a one-hit wonder with some of these quarterbacks and some of these players? You never know, but you got to give them a little bit of time to develop. It's just like Bryce Young. Give the guy time. Give him some players. Give him some protection on the offensive line and then see what he can do. By the way, speaking of spaghetti, you said you want to put spaghetti in the celebration. Tomorrow, mobster movies. 5 favorite things for tomorrow, your 5 favorite mobster movies. It could be that great Goodfellas and that Goodfellas scene where they were eating a little Italian food around the dinner table with Pesci's mother. Or it could be anything as far as Cartel is concerned. Anything like the Cartel movies, Scarface, things of that nature. 5 favorite mobster movies, for a lack of better term.
The last time an Italian quarterback came in and emergency starts, He was terrible, and he turned out to be terrible. I didn't have to give him any time. Ben DiNucci was terrible. He was terrible, looked terrible. That's who Tommy DeVito looked like in his first start. He looked like Ben DiNucci. Somehow he has turned out to not be Ben DiNucci.
But Garoppolo's another Italian. He's good, right? There's some good Italian quarterbacks.
And I need to apologize. Hey, listen, I will never doubt Brandon Lang and his girl again. I thought she was just going New York homerism with the Jets and the Giants.
Hit it again.
She was could have been more spot on. And I know I got a tweet from somebody that played the parlay of all of the picks, of 3 of his picks, and nailed all of them. Obviously, won the parlay.
Good for that person. So the Titans last night, just a crazy, crazy game. They beat Miami 28-27 to improve to 5-8 and drop Miami to 9-4. Pretty devastating loss for Miami, although they're still in the lead in the AFC East. Tyreek Hill got hurt in that game with an ankle injury, but did return. However, at the end of the game, he wasn't in on that final drive. The Titans commit 2 turnovers in about a minute span, and looks like they just gave away the game, that it was over at that point. Just 2 knucklehead plays. But they come back, 2 great drives led by Will Levis, and they win at 28-27, and then Tua with a chance to lead Miami down to maybe a game-winning field goal. They get the big sack. Landry was terrific. I don't know. This is the NFL, and that's why I think it's so hard to win in the NFL. That's why Brandon Lang to give 3 winners is pretty amazing, because you just never know.
No, that game was bizarre. Because it's funny because when they, the Titans are getting the ball back in a 13-13 game when they muff the punt. Like at that point, you're thinking, like if you had the Titans plus 13.5, you're like, there's no way they could possibly in 5 minutes lose this. They're getting the ball back in a 13-13 game. Then, bam, 2 minutes later, you're now losing your bet. You're not,
right.
Like, what is going on here? What the hell just happened? I was up 13.5 points just a minute ago, and then for them to come back and win it. And I know people. They went for 2 on the first touchdown, which a lot of coaches love to do. Worked out beautifully for them. That's why coaches do that. Gives you the opportunity to win the game in regulation. It was the first team to win in regulation after trailing by at least 14 with under 3 minutes to go since 1976.
Jeez. I wonder what is it called when the ESPN puts up they have a 90% chance to win, 95% chance to win. They always put that stuff up. I forget what it's called. I wonder what it was when the Titans had the lead with 6 minutes to go, and then when the Dolphins got the lead. I wonder what it was, because they were wrong every single time. Just an amazing game, great win for Will Levis and the Titans. I don't know if Will Levis is the long-term answer at quarterback for the Titans. But, man, he was good last night.
I 100% thought the Titans scored too quickly. I was like, so
did I.
They left the Dolphins way too much time. Like, all they need is a field goal. They're going to go get a field goal out of this. But credit the Titans defense for going to stop him. And the job they did against that Dolphins offense,
right?
Even with Tyreek Hill banged up, and that's still a pretty darn good offense. And, I mean, the 2 turnovers were the only 2 offensive touchdowns they got. The first touchdown came via defense, so very impressive. But when that punt returner bobbled the second punt, dude, that if he would have lost that one, he might as well just ran straight off the field.
He would have been cut right there.
Into the locker room, grab your stuff. You're done. Call it a day.
2 hours in the books. Coming up in hour number 3, we'll talk with Zoe Goodson, the head men's basketball coach at Rhodes College. And Aaron Torres will join us from Fox Sports Radio. We'll get his thoughts on the Memphis news and the Naquan Tomlin signing, according to reports. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
You ready to end the year with some money in your pocket? We got it covered at Gossett Mitsubishi's Mitsubishi Motors year-end sales event. Get to the Pike for the award-winning 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. 420 total range MPGE, $299 a month. Get ready for your road trip in the 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Buy for $27,000 or just $399 a month. And cool has never been cooler than in a 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. We Gossett at $30,700 or $499 a month. And no worries with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today at 1870 Covington Pike. Gift wrapping available. You want it, we Gossett. Shop online anytime at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
PHEV PZ06203 MSRP 44,355 Sport RU 001136 MSRP 28,000 Eclipse RZO 12051 MSRP 31,700 includes all rebates and incentives PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
This holiday season, give the gift of Gould's with a Gould's gift card for someone you love. It's the perfect gift for everyone. The Gould's gift card doesn't just send wishes, it grants them in store and online. Just come to any Gould's and pick up a gift card or go to GouldSalonSpa.com to purchase online. That's GouldSalonSpa.com. Happy holidays from Gould's. Gould's Salon Spa, locally owned and operated since 1932.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis, right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by the heat. Or sweet maple bourbon. The taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. And now open the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the $9.99 lunch special. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Appleton and Kirby Whitten, and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Wrapping up that earlier wreck on 240 northbound at South Parkway. It is really slow this morning. 55 northbound in the construction zone over here between South Parkway and Macklemore, and still a lot of volume trying to get up through South Haven right now. It's still crowded on 40 West trying to get past Sycamore View Road. Weimer's Jewelry located 7525 Highway 64. Shop local this holiday season. Save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Power is everything.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:06 the time. Final hour for us today here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Tuesday, December 12th, 2023 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd. We are in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure's Christmas sale continues. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. It's Tuesday. Time to talk some roads.
It's time to go inside Rhodes College Athletics on Sports 56 Mornings. Every week, a representative from Rhodes will join Greg and Eli to talk about all things Lynx. Let's go inside Rhodes Athletics now on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Relatively quiet week. No games for the Rhodes men's basketball team. Exams taking place at Rhodes. But it doesn't mean we don't have a lot to talk about with Zoe Goodson, the Rhodes College basketball head coach. You can follow him on Twitter at Zoe Goodson. Hey, Zoe.
How you doing?
Doing fantastic.
Good.
I know that you're like pulling out your hair because you couldn't really coach. No practices, no games. So what did you do for the last week?
We had some practices. A lot of, during finals week, everything has to be voluntary. So some of the guys were able to show up.
Oh, really? Okay.
In and different things like that. But, we're at the tail end of finals. Thank God. I'm ready to get back after it. I've been bored out of my mind. I watched a lot of film, but I like to get that energy out on the court.
You should just go take some of the finals. Just go pop in.
They don't want me to do that. I promise you. I don't want to do that. I don't want to embarrass myself.
You're watching film, but are you also watching maybe some D1 games, just watching basketball like you are because you are a basketball junkie?
It has been great to catch up on a lot of NBA and college games, getting to see some of my buddies coach. ESPN Plus has been a great addition to the world of being able to see every game around the country, so...
Rhodes Holiday Classic will be coming up this Saturday. You get back to action. You'll play LaGrange. And then on Monday, you got Sewanee at 1 p.m. We were talking before we went on the air about you guys hosting 3 different classics. And you said there is a long list of schools that want to come to Memphis.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and it's great because it's a testament to the city, right, and how much all these teams around the country, we get them from the Northeast, the upper Midwest, all the way to the West Coast that are reaching out to us because they want to bring their teams to Memphis, and there's so much to see here and so much to do. So it's an event for their whole squad. And one of the biggest things is the Civil Rights Museum. That is something that every team that comes from out of town, almost every single team, makes it a point to go and visit. So we're really lucky in that sense because then we don't have to do a lot of traveling. We get to host, and it's really fun to have that opportunity for these teams.
So if you've got that many that want to come here, when you have these classics, how do you decide what teams you are going to bring in?
I'm a big believer in who reaches out first. We start slotting them in right away on who reaches out first. So, and then, you have the shuffle and you have people that will commit to it, then they back out before they get the contract back or whatever. So you're constantly, it's a game of Tetris throughout the whole summer, fitting teams in that fit to the different dates. But we set the dates ourselves and then we allow people to pick from there.
And again, folks, if you want to see Rhodes basketball home games, it's free of charge.
Free of charge.
Just show up. All right, so you got the Rhodes Holiday Classic. You'll get back to practice later this week. Mention the opponents. What does it look like as far as the possibilities for you guys to have success? You were playing incredibly well when you hit the break.
No doubt. And so it's always coming off of, there's two breaks that you have. You have finals break and you have Christmas break. You come off of those and you're always a little worried about what it's going to look like coming off that. Now, with that said, our guys have done a really, really good job of getting in the gym on their own, staying crisp and not getting too rusty during this time, and using basketball as their stress relief, as an outlet to get away for a minute, away from the academic side. So I'm not concerned about the rustiness too much. I am a little bit, but not a ton. But Saturday is going to be a high-octane game. You got 2 top 30 pace teams in the country going up against each other. So it's going to be up and down. It's going to I really hesitant using the word run and gun or the phrase run and gun, but it may seem like that to some on Saturday. So it's going to be a really fun game, entertaining game for the fans for sure. And then Saturday, an opportunity to play our in-state rivalry. And so the rivalry game with Sewanee coming to town, they're in our conference, but it's a non-conference game. And we picked it up in order to continue the rivalry and keep it going strong.
You talk about those breaks. And this one, I guess, is because at least the kids are around. As you said, they could still come in. It's just got to be voluntary stuff. But then after this, you send them basically home, like they get the Christmas break.
Yep.
But you play in Las Vegas coming right out of that. That one seems like that would be, from a coaching perspective, oh boy, really trusting these guys to do some work while they're at home.
That's where you got to keep an eye on them.
That's the trust piece, right? And so we build that trust together all fall and up to this point. But it is, and so you're coming off of it. Last year we were coming off of Christmas break and the Southwest debacle, and our flights got canceled, so we never made it out to Vegas. Well, then our first 2 games after that were conference games. We go on the road, and we lost 2 games. It's the only time we lost 2 games in a row, all year at that point. And so throughout the whole year. And so, yeah, of course, coming off of Christmas break is even more concerning than even the finals break, but because there's such a big break, like you said, and they're home by themselves, so there's a very rare opportunity to get some pickup or anything in.
And then again, and you're also traveling when you come back, so you're but so how do you approach that kind of return to action after the break?
Yeah, so the 26th at noon, we'll have a light practice to kind of knock some of the rust off, and then that evening we're going to get after it. Then we got a 5 a.m. flight on Wednesday, and we're practicing at UNLV on Wednesday, on that Wednesday evening.
You going to bring the kids to see Wayne Newton?
Yeah, that's the first stop. That's the first stop.
Yeah, so that's great for the guys to be able to go out there when you're doing the recruiting, showing them the schedule,
of course,
who you're going to play, where you're going to play, trips that you take.
Yep.
I would imagine that all kids love that. I mean, as adults, we love that, and certainly young, impressionable recruits to go, hey, man, we're going to Vegas?
Hey, the recruiting piece is huge, but it's even for the young men, but it's even bigger for the parents. The parents love these opportunities. Yeah. Heck, my own parents, my mother, Kathy, she's our biggest fan. She can't wait to get to Vegas.
Oh, they're all going,
and so the whole crew's going. But, yeah, it's a big it's a big recruiting advantage whenever you're able to participate in these events every year. We're already planning next year's trip, and we're going to the beach. And so we've got stuff that we're always trying to use to our advantage whenever you have support like we have.
We were just talking with Jeff Crane, the University of Memphis deputy AD, and he talked about how Memphis is contacted every year about these holiday tournaments for them to participate in it. So does it work the same way in D3? Are these tournaments contacting you, or are you reaching out to these tournaments?
So we usually stay with a few different companies, and they're always sending us and inviting us to their different ones that they have, and we kind of weigh our options and what we think is going to be best. There's one in Puerto Rico every year for Division III, and one in Hawaii, and they're different places, and so you got to figure out what is going to fit your budget best and what you can fundraise for or whatnot, and then what works into your schedule. Obviously, we play 11 non-conference games, which is different than a lot. A lot of places have played more conference games, so we're having to fit a lot of games in, non-con games, so we got to figure that out and what fits our schedule. Plus, we want to host. We want to host as much as we can.
We got a text here with a question for you. So this is Uncle Ray.
Uncle Ray.
Big Lynx fan in St. Louis. Says enjoy watching the Lynx.
Ray.
Okay. Ask how you feel about the contributions from the freshmen and sophomores. And are you looking forward to Lamy and Prang,
yep.
Prang, returning for conference play?
So just to give you a little context, Uncle Ray is the team uncle. And he's
the team uncle.
He's a team uncle.
Every team needs a team uncle, right?
He's one of our players' uncle, and he's a great guy, great fan. Of course, I'm really excited about getting Jonathan back. Hayden, Lamy, Jonathan Prang is going to be a really, really good addition when we get him back from his shoulder injury. But Hayden Lamy, we're not sure when his return or what it's going to look like, so I'll stay away from that one. But the contributions from our freshmen have been unbelievable. They've grown up so quickly right in front of us, and it's great to see. We talked about last week a guy like Sean Jones and Trevor Lombard and Nick Lewis and different guys that are just contributing at such a high clip that we're really excited about, and we're excited to see where they go from here.
How many guys are out right now with injury?
So we still have three out right now. We've got one of our guys back. Elijah White's back now, so he'll be able to play this weekend. And then, but we get we're hoping to get Jason Joga back and Jonathan Prang about the same time here in the next. We're day to day at this point. So,
when you've talked a lot about your defense and how complex it can be and how long it could take. So, at this point, and now again you've got breaks and stuff like that, so it's practice time is limited, but conference play is on the horizon. By the time conference play gets here, will you have kind of everything in?
Everything will be in for sure. We're really only probably 2 steps away from having everything in, and I plan on taking one of those steps Wednesday, Thursday. So we make a master plan, and I try to follow it as close as I can, dates and when I want to have everything in. So by the end of Vegas, we will have every piece of it in, and then the biggest piece is coming this week where we start doing a little bit of a different rotation and our help. It's not a different rotation, it's just adding to it, really. And so we'll have all that in, and we're really in a really good spot with our zones and our presses and everything. So we're a little ahead of schedule on some of those as well.
Do you have to, once a year starts, and you said you've got your master plan, but do you have to sometimes adjust that by the way things are going or what you see, like, oh, okay, these guys maybe not capable of this or more capable of that? How much adjustment do you have to do?
Well, we made huge adjustments this year because this team is much better in zone than any team I've had before. And so we've added a couple different zones to it, to our bag. So we will, of course, adjust, and the dates are always floating.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you get ahead, so you move up. Sometimes you fall behind, so you're adjusting those dates. But on the master plan, I don't ever erase the old dates. I just write next to them because I want to see, where we stand as we go through it.
Wanted to get your thoughts, not specifically on Naquan Tomlin, but kind of on that same situation as you are a head coach and have been parts of other staffs, including Tubby Smith coaching on his staff. Tomlin, if those folks out there haven't heard yet, according to several reports, has committed to the University of Memphis as a grad student who will be able to play immediately once he's enrolled and everything goes through, what they have to do as far as paper and things of that nature, and then he'll be acclimated with the team and be a part of the team again. According to these reports, Penny has not said anything yet officially, but he comes from Kansas State where he was released from the team after an incident that occurred in a bar. And reading some stories about it, it seemed like maybe there was some other things that have happened. But here's a player who's getting another opportunity, according to reports, with Penny. How do you look at it as a coach with players that it may not have worked out somewhere, or they may have gotten in trouble with the law, and then they're looking for that opportunity? How do you deal with it, and what did you think about this news?
Well, not specific to the news. The first part is, they're young men, and they're learning, and they're growing, and they're trying to, you hope that they're trying to do the right thing. And so I'm a big believer, and Coach Smith was a huge believer in second chances as well. And so you learn that people are going to make mistakes. I made my fair share when I was
college kids tend to make some mistakes.
And I made my fair share. And so I'm not one to pass quick judgment on that. I think Coach Hardaway's doing the right thing. I think if this is the case and he's coming to Memphis, and when they confirm it, I think that Penny's going to be a great resource for this young man to help mature and help grow up, and a guy that can help. He's proven he's helped countless young men since he's been the head coach, and even before he's been a head coach at Memphis, all those young men that he was helping when he was a high school coach. He's a great resource for this guy, and he's going to be a guy that's going to help him grow up. The biggest thing is, don't over-evaluate, especially Memphis fans over-evaluate what his past is. We all have a past, and some people's past is a little more checkered than others or whatever. But with that being said, his future, his present and his future is the most important. And it's time to, now it's time for him to turn the page and let go of some of the past, and time to move on and grow up and continue to get better as not only a basketball player, but as a person. And that's what Penny's going to help him do.
Well, the thing, too, regardless of whatever he graduated. He's graduated, no doubt. He clearly at least took school seriously, and he's been able to get that done. So that says something about it, at least.
No doubt, and so that's what I'm saying. I don't know if any of us know the full story. What happened in the past. That's why, I try not to dig too deep. I try to, when I'm evaluating from my perspective, if I'm bringing in a mid-year transfer or whatever, I want to give my own evaluation on them and get to know them as a person. And I'm sure Penny's done that, gotten to know him and sat down and had a lot of good, hard conversations to feel good about bringing him in. That's, we've got a mid-year coming in, and we did the same thing.
Well said. Well said. Again, this Saturday, Rhodes back in action. It's the Rhodes Holiday Classic. Saturday, they'll play LaGrange. Monday's a 1 o'clock game against Sewanee. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's free of charge. Go in and see some really good D3 basketball, the Rhodes Lynx. Zoe, as always, thank you so much. We'll do it again next week.
Appreciate it. See you next week.
He is the head coach of the men's basketball team at Rhodes. He is Zoe Goodson. You can follow him on Twitter at Zoe Goodson. And again, we do this each and every Tuesday. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084. Go online to newroofmemphis.com. Locally owned and operated. They offer financing with different plans and options to choose from, including a 6, 12, even an 18-month. Same as cash option. They'll work with your insurance company. They'll work out of pocket, whatever it takes. They do residential and commercial roofing. So business owners and property managers, if you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon today. That goes the same for homeowners. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof, and all their work, satisfaction guaranteed. They do work around the home as well, like carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up shingles and fencing, siding, rotten wood repair, whatever you can't do yourselves. Call the experts at Pinnacle. Quality work at a very reasonable price. It's Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon, 901-438-5084, or go online. Find out more about them at newroofmemphis.com. When we come back, Aaron Torres will join us from Fox Sports Radio, talk about the news involving Naquan Tomlin, also news from around the college basketball world. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
If you're moving to Denver, Dover, or Duluth, Lawrence can help you. I'm Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, and Lawrence Kenner is our relocation director. She arranges for you to have an agent in other cities find you the home in the neighborhood and price you want. In fact, she and Marks Bensdorf just won a major award from leading real estate companies of the world, our nationwide relocation network, for the highest volume in relocation sales.
Yes, Sheldon, I can help people in their new city, and winning that relocation award is proof that we do a great job.
That's right, Lawrence. When people are being transferred, they can reach you at 682-1868, and when they need to sell their home, what do people often say?
When you want the job done, call the worst golfer in town. Call Sheldon.
You can reach me, Sheldon Rosengarten, at 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. That's MemphisRelocate.com or 483-0546, and go Tigers.
Whether it's date night, a birthday, or just because, raise a steak in celebration at Ruth's Chris. Open in the Regalia Shopping Center at the corner of Poplar and Ridgeway. Treat yourself to one of our classic USDA prime beef steaks, seasoned and broiled to perfection. Then serve sizzling hot on one of Ruth's signature 500-degree plates. Visit Ruth'sChris.com to make a reservation. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Memphis. This is how celebrating more is done.
Your brain is an amazing thing. But as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times national survey of pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
All 650 acquisition fees. Sportage R723 5498 MSRP 28940. Sorrento PG 424710 MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462822 MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024 with approved credit. Dealers.com.
Hey, my man Jeff Allen, what's going on for the holidays over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
It's the season of giving back at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, and I've got your holiday presents right here.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
Award-winning SUV 2024 Kia Sportage LX, $299 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sorrento LX, perfect for your road trips, $329 a month. And the 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we got it at $459 a month, all 36-month lease.
Well, you can't get much better than that, Jeff. And all Kias come with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. And from all of us at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah, happy holidays.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Okay, this car looked great wrapped around you,
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The body's a temple, that's why we're talking.
Once again, news this morning, breaking news. According to several reports, Naquan Tomlin, late of Kansas State, has committed to the University of Memphis and will be eligible for the Tigers once, I guess, everything is cleared up. He's enrolled in classes. He's a graduate student. And having just recently graduated at Kansas State, he's a 6'10" big man who was instrumental in Kansas State's run in the NCAA tournament, but had been out, suspended, not played at all with Kansas State while being suspended, and was released from the team last week. So now, again, according to reports, going to join the University of Memphis. We'll get the thoughts of one Aaron Torres, who's joining us in just a moment, the host on the weekends of Fox Sports Radio, and he's the host of the Aaron Torres podcast. He does a great job in covering all sports, but in particular college basketball. You can follow Aaron on Twitter at Aaron_Torres. Aaron, how are you?
Fellas, I'm doing good. I didn't think we'd have, immediate eligibility recruiting news when you booked me yesterday, Greg, but it's good to be joining you. And obviously, when I saw the news, I knew we'd be talking about it. But, crazy development, interesting development. I mean, I guess this is the new world of college hoops where a kid, wasn't playing, is immediately eligible, and he'll be in a Tigers uniform, it sounds like, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for getting up early with us. We know it's early out there on the West Coast, and I appreciate it, Aaron. But, yeah, what can you tell us about this young man? His numbers from last year, 10.4 points per game, 5.9 rebounds. I know he had the nice run in the tournament where he averaged even more points, more rebounds, and a couple of blocks a game. What is Memphis going to get in this young man?
Yeah, what you said is absolutely accurate, Greg, is he was a very big part of what Kansas State did last year. As a matter of fact, if you remember when they won in the second round of the NCAA tournament against Kentucky, I remember saying it on my show that week. I said, this guy is a matchup problem for Kentucky, who last year, everybody remembers, has Oscar Tshiebwe. They don't have a ton of, athleticism and length down low, and they were really relying on him. So he's a really good player. I mean, he's, I think it's about whatever he said, 10, 11 points per game, but he's super athletic. I believe, if I remember correctly, relatively new to basketball, kind of one of those kids that, maybe picked it up at 15, 16. I remember, Tang telling me last summer, Jerome Tang, the Kansas State head coach, that he thought was a player that, when it all comes together, has a potential NBA future. And so, it's a huge pickup. I'll be blunt. Kansas State has been pretty quiet about what led to his dismissal from that university. Obviously, publicly, we know there was an incident at a bar. We don't know if there was anything beyond that led to the dismissal. So, I don't want to speculate too much on why he left. But obviously, whatever it was, Penny Hardaway wasn't concerned. So you're getting a really good player. And obviously with the news that, I don't know if it was coincidental. Maybe Jordan Brown knew this was coming, or maybe, this is the reason that Jordan – maybe the reason they got him was because Jordan Brown wasn't going to be back, or it's speculated to not be back, or maybe Jordan Brown left because of this. But either way, it's a great pickup. And then obviously to have him immediately eligible is very big and very important for this team going into the back half of the year.
What has been your impression of this Memphis team to this point? They've obviously got a couple of big games coming up here, Clemson and Virginia, but what has been your impression of what you've seen out of this Memphis team to this point?
Yeah, I mean, I said it, I'm trying to think here, I think maybe even after the Missouri game, I said I think this is his best team since he's been at Memphis, Coach Hardaway. Listen, it's a national kind of easy talking point, but I do think, going from, early on, I still remember talking to you guys about the weekend that Wiseman, R.J. Hampton, and Jalen Green all visited, and, we're going to be an NBA factory, blah, 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 to where they are now, obviously the oldest team, frankly, one of the older teams in college basketball history. It's kind of incredible, but listen, veterans winning college basketball, we all know that. And the pieces are really good. And, the one thing I'll say, I knew a lot about Quinterly coming in. I knew a lot about Jordan Brown, although obviously we just spoke about him. I'll be honest, I really didn't. I'll just be blunt. I didn't know David Jones was this good.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, guys, listen, I try to watch as much as I can, and I think I have a pretty good feel for this sport. But when you spend 2 years at DePaul, 2 more years at St. John's, you get lost in the shuffle. I mean, there's only so much that everybody can watch, and when you're on 2 pretty bad teams, you get lost in the shuffle. And so that's the guy that, to me, I think he's been one of the surprises, in my opinion, not only on Memphis. I would argue he's been one of the surprises nationally. Greg, it sounded like you had a very similar response to that. I am pleasantly surprised at how good he is, how competitive he is, all of the things that he's brought to Memphis.
He was, I believe, the last player that Penny had signed. Now, obviously, he's going to sign another player, but he was the last player in the summer. In fact, when they went to the Dominican Republic for their trip, they played against David Jones, who played for the national team in the DR. So he was playing against his former teammates, and he dominated. So, yeah, he's been a surprise, to say the least. I think people had high hopes for him, but I don't think they believed he would be the kind of player he is. With that said, there's still some holes. They still got to be better as a three-point shooting team, but they have to do better on the boards, and that's why a guy like this, if it does come to fruition, which it does, believed to be, according to several outlets now, that Tomlin could really bring some solid rebounding to the core, because that's what Jordan Brown did not bring. And I think with him, combined with Malcolm Dandridge coming off the bench, that gives him a force in rebounding the basketball. Aaron Torres is joining us from Fox Sports Radio, the Aaron Torres podcast. Okay, you spent some time recently in Arkansas. Eric Musselman, friend of the show, great guy. It's a team that Memphis beat earlier this year in their event in the Bahamas. It's a team that also knocked off Duke, but they have been hot and cold, up and down. For our Razorbacks fans out there listening, what do you think of this Arkansas team?
Well, listen, they too, I'm not making excuses, but they've dealt with some injuries where Trevin Brazil didn't practice for a few days leading into the Oklahoma game the other day. So I don't know. Listen, I guess what I would say is a couple things. One, a couple of teams that they've lost to are really good. The Memphis speaks for itself. We talked about them. Oklahoma right now, I don't know how many people realize is in the top 15 nationally. Porter Moser seems to have finally figured it out. And I think North Carolina's pretty good, even though UConn took care of them last week at MSG. So I just bring it up because, one, it's not as though they've lost to bad competition. And two, I just think, listen, not everything clicks the way it has for Memphis in this transfer portal plug-and-play era. And the one thing about Coach Muss, is he is a guy that is going to continue to tinker until he figures out what works for the specific group of guys that he has. And so, sometimes when you bring in 8, 9, 10 new players, it can click right away like it clearly has at Memphis, and at other times it takes a little bit longer. And I think we're seeing that a lot in college basketball. Tennessee early on took 3 losses, 2 in Maui, and then they lost to North Carolina. Rick Barnes, I think, has started to figure out, okay, these are the guys that I can trust, and these are the guys that maybe I thought I can trust that aren't there yet. And so I think this has kind of become a trend with Arkansas. What I would say really quick is just being down there. Obviously, I was there the night they beat Duke, so everybody was in good spirits. But I think there's a sentiment there's always going to be the fans that overreact to every loss. Every fan base has them. You're a fan. That's your priority, whatever. But I think also the sentiment that I got from being there at that moment was that I think there is also a huge percentage of the fan base that says we trust Coach Musk to eventually figure it out. Obviously, 3 straight tournaments. It would have been, I guess 3 straight tournaments, maybe 4 if there had been one in 2020, 3 straight Sweet 16s or beyond. And I think there's a panic level inside that building to get it figured out. But I really didn't get the sense that there was a huge, overwhelming panic level from the fan base that the whole thing is falling apart or anything like that, even despite, obviously, another loss this weekend.
You mentioned Tennessee and the 3 losses. Now there's Purdue, Kansas, and North Carolina, so there's certainly nothing to be ashamed of when you lose to those teams. Zakai Ziegler looks like he's getting more back to form.
Sure.
A lot of people think this is a team that literally could cut down the nets in April. How good do you think this Tennessee team is?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you say something like cut down the nets, I don't disagree with you, but you'll get the pushback about Rick Barnes' tournament resume. Now listen, I would sit there and say, listen, they made the Sweet 16 last year without Zakai Ziegler, as you just referenced, which I think is important to note. 2019, I guess it was, they made the Sweet 16 and they were a play away from playing Purdue in the Elite Eight. And so I just bring it up because I tend to think that the narratives about Rick Barnes' NCAA tournament resume are a little bit overblown. But I just bring it up to say, as far as they're concerned, he's another guy that I think he has historically brought in 10, 11, 12 guys that can play. Now, not every coach does that, but he brings in 10, 11, 12 guys that can play and kind of says it's up to you to earn your minutes. And so a lot of times they will, they take a little time to get things figured out as well. And I think that's the case there. I thought the thing that stood out to me about the win against Illinois, I think only 8 players total played, and really it was about 7 in the pretty consistent rotation. And so I think Tennessee's kind of a lot like what we just referenced with Arkansas, where it is at Memphis. How about this? Memphis being kind of the standard right now of, hey, we're bringing in a bunch of new players and we got a coach that's figured it out, because I think Tennessee is another one of those that hasn't quite figured it out. But I would also say the 3 losses they took are to 3 really good teams, 2 on a neutral court, 1 in a true road environment at Carolina.
Aaron Torres joining us here on the program. All right, we had the feel-good story of the return of Bronny James. I think everybody's happy that young man was able to continue his basketball career now at the collegiate level. But my question for you is this. All the talk about LeBron playing with Bronny in the NBA and all, is Bronny James that good? How good a player is Bronny James? That's what I'm asking you, and what do you expect from him?
It's a great question, Greg. Listen, what I would say is a couple things. Is by all accounts, I do live in LA, and anyone that's spent time around Bronny, obviously for obvious reasons, is a very close circle. They say great kid, and frankly, great parents. We can criticize LeBron, the player, do we like this, do we like that, but I don't think I'm speaking out of school by saying this. I've talked to the USC staff about when we met with them, as a family. There was no, I need this many minutes, this and that. It was no, we just, we want him to, earn any opportunities that he gets. And so I bring it up to say, if his name was, Mike Smith or whatever, probably has an NBA future, but it's probably 2 or 3 years down the road. And I think that actually kind of complicated Bronny's recruitment, because I think there were a lot of schools that didn't really recruit him as they would have, because they basically said, we don't feel like he's a one-and-done player, but we feel like he is only going to be there for 1 year. Mm-hmm. And when you bring in Bronny, you got to play him. And so, I can even say from the USC perspective, they lost a bunch of guys in the portal this spring, and I don't know how aggressively they were really recruiting him until they knew that there was playing time for him to be had. So we'll see. From the college perspective, like I said, I think it complicated his recruitment, because there were a lot of coaches that just said, if we can't bring Bronny to campus and not play him a significant amount of time. And then from the NBA perspective, too, I think it's, what are we drafting? Is LeBron really coming? I saw a report yesterday that, despite the speculation from LeBron that he wants to play with his son, I think everybody feels like he's going to retire as a Laker. He likes living in Los Angeles. He obviously has his business interests here. So if, I think if the Memphis Grizzlies hypothetically had a second-round pick and took Bronny, I know LeBron has said publicly that he wants to play with him, but I don't know that it means that it guarantees LeBron, et cetera. So I know I'm rambling here, but I think it's kind of a two-way street I think it kind of hurt his college recruitment. Really good player, but I think LeBron's comments hurt his college recruitment. And I don't think there's any real belief in the NBA that he's going to go to Charlotte or New Orleans or wherever if they draft Bronny.
Yeah, it would seem like it would be LeBron basically telling the Lakers, like, hey, you need to draft Bronny.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Wherever that is, I don't know how we can wait or whatever, but make sure we draft Bronny.
Yes, that's my sentiment as well. That is my sentiment as well. Yeah, I saw a report yesterday. I didn't really read too much into it, but essentially that, there isn't really any belief in the NBA that LeBron is looking to leave to go somewhere else again, even if Bronny is available, even if Bronny ends up somewhere outside of the Lakers, which to your point, I think probably his comments are more for the Lakers to draft Bronny than it is anything else.
Aaron, real quick, we don't have a lot of time, but kind of give me a quick scouting report on the two next opponents for Memphis. They have Clemson and they have Virginia coming up here in Memphis, and both those teams, as you know, are nationally ranked.
Well, Virginia, it's very much the same. I mean, slow pace, slow tempo. They make you beat them. They make you defend for 28, 30 seconds in the shot clock. So it'll be, we kind of know that this Virginia team is no different. I think they're probably a little bit more athletic than they've been, maybe a little bit higher upside than maybe the last year or two. And then Clemson, listen, I know it sounds weird, but I think they're kind of a feel-good story. A veteran team, a lot of 5th, 6-year COVID guys, and they have a transfer named Joe Girard from Syracuse, who's kind of like this legendary high school scorer in upstate New York. I mean, I think he even at Syracuse averaged 15, 16 a game. That I think has kind of added some offensive pop that team needs. So I would sit there and say I think this Clemson team is pretty legit. It's not just, a weak schedule or anything like that. They've won some ACC games already. I think they're a pretty good team, and frankly, I'm excited to see them against a team the caliber of Memphis, as this season plays on, because obviously they've been kind of off the radar. I think they're a little bit more on the radar over the last week or so.
You can listen to him on Fox Sports Radio. Also, check out his podcast, the Aaron Torres Podcast. Does such a great job, especially with college basketball. You can follow him on Twitter at Aaron_Torres. Happy holidays, Aaron. We'll talk after the new year. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, fellas. Have a great day. Thank you.
Folks, this year when it comes to jewelry for Christmas, you have a great, refreshing place to go here in Memphis, that being Genesis Diamonds. And boy, oh boy, do they've got deals for you. Of course, they always have a massive selection when it comes to jewelry, especially diamonds, engagement rings, things like that. They've got a selection unlike anything else you will find in Memphis. They've got complete lines of jewelry that nobody else in Memphis has. You'll notice as soon as you walk in the door, just case after case of jewelry. Plus, then you start looking at prices, and you're going to see that the prices are absolutely amazing because of direct importer prices. They take out the middleman. And right now, for the holidays, how about 5 years, 0 interest financing? That's right, 5 years, 0 interest financing. So you buy that $6,000 engagement ring this Christmas season to pop the question, you're paying just $100 a month. That's the type of deals with 5 years, 0 interest financing that you could take advantage of. And with the prices they already have, that engagement ring is going to be out of this world. They've got, of course, the pre-owned Rolex watches as well. And everything there is available for the 0% financing for 5 years. That's right. Every single thing in the store, including those pre-owned Rolex watches. Genesis Diamonds, located in the Poplar Commons Shopping Center. That's at Poplar and Perkins Extended. Merry Christmas from the folks at Genesis Diamonds.
Notre Dame may not be in a conference, but they might as well be in the ACC. They play a lot of ACC teams, and they seem to like those ACC quarterbacks. According to reports, Riley Leonard from Duke has committed to Notre Dame. After last year, of course, Notre Dame went out and got Sam Hartman from Wake Forest. So Riley Leonard to Notre Dame, according to reports. When we come back, it'll be our final segment. If you didn't get a chance to talk about, I know a lot of folks wanted to give their comments on Naquan Tomlin, who has, again, according to reports, signed on with the University of Memphis basketball team. We could take your calls and texts to wrap up the show. 360-8255, 901-360-8255. Call in or text in. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
At Genesis Diamonds, we're rolling back prices and finance rates so you can get that special someone the most special gift ever. Maybe it's that pair of diamond earrings, or that all-new designer fashion bracelet, or that dazzling 2-carat diamond ring. It's all more affordable because at Genesis, we've got special pricing across the board and 0 interest for 5 years. So you can get that $3,000 diamond pendant and pay just $50 a month, or that $6,000 eternity band for just $100 a month. Everything's included in this amazing holiday offer. All our GIA certified natural diamonds and all our lab-grown diamonds, even all our luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Imagine that $15,000 Rolex for just $250 a month. You can even finance the sales tax. Don't let talk of rising prices and high interest rates dampen your holiday spirit. At Genesis, we're lowering prices and taking interest rates down to 0. Get that headliner gift they deserve and make your money go farther than ever. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended. On approved credit, see store for details.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
You ready to end the year with some money in your pocket? We got it covered at Gossett Mitsubishi's Mitsubishi Motors year-end sales event. Get to the Pike for the award-winning 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. 420 total range MPGE, $299 a month. Get ready for your road trip in the 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Buy for $27,000 or just $399 a month. And cool has never been cooler than in a 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. We got it at $30,700 or $499 a month. And no worries with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today at 1870 Covington Pike. Gift wrapping available. You want it, we got it. Shop online anytime at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
PHEV PZ06233 MSRP 44,355 Sport RU 001136 MSRP 28,000 Eclipse RZO 12051 MSRP 31,700 includes all rebates and incentives PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
The elevator tries to break
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
This hour is indeed brought to you by Acura of Memphis. They're located on Ridgeway, right there at 385, just around the corner from us here at Sports 56 and Flint Broadcasting. Go by, take a test drive, check out those beautiful Acura automobiles, whether you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a pre-owned vehicle. Folks at Acura Memphis have everything you need and great people to deal with throughout the process. They're online at AcuraofMemphis.com where you can see the inventory of pre-owned vehicles that they've got. You can get all kinds of information on all the different vehicles, all the models of Acura, plus information like trade-in value on your current vehicle. You can do that all online at AcuraofMemphis.com. Got a text from Ron, says, how soon could Tomlin play? Again, basically whenever he's enrolled at the University of Memphis. Once he is officially enrolled, doesn't have to wait for classes to start or anything like that, but once he is officially enrolled and everything is approved, then he would become eligible to play for the Tigers. So theoretically, I don't know how fast that process can go, but theoretically, if it went really fast, he could play against Clemson on Saturday.
Yeah, Jeff Crane on with us earlier, Deputy AD, said there's still some things they got to make sure, I guess, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed with the NCAA and all that when you're bringing in a transfer and then obviously a kid who was kicked off the team. But, yeah, he did say you don't have to wait till the classes actually physically start. As long as he's enrolled, he would be ready to go. Parthu Pajai from the Daily Memphian, and by the way, going to drop a Daily Memphian podcast later today with Parth on Tigers basketball, and there's a lot to talk about. He said, despite the addition of Naquan Tomlin, Jordan Brown is currently still a member of the Memphis basketball team. A program spokesperson tells him Brown's status with the team by several other accounts is shaky, but nothing has changed yet on the Tigers' end. I don't know. Again, I could never confirm, nor I don't believe any other media outlets, the original report that Jordan Brown was not going to play again the rest of the year. Now, I've heard some things about the situation. But with this news, I can't imagine. You'd have Tomlin, Brown, Malcolm Dandridge. I just think there's got to be an odd man out, and that would be Brown.
Reggie texts in, says some thought that if we got DeAndre Williams back, we would have been a top 10 team. Now that we got Tomlin, who is just as good or better, are we considered a top 10 team now? I don't know if Tomlin's as good as DeAndre Williams. And any conversation with DeAndre Williams, too, would have been the idea that people thought Jordan Brown was actually going to be good. So you would have had Williams and Brown up front, that combination. Mm-hmm. Brown has turned out not to be that. I don't know if this is a top 10 team. I certainly think if Tomlin comes in and plays like he played last year for Kansas State, I'd certainly think it's a top 25, top 20 team. Whether they're top 10, I don't know about that. When they have the ability to play like a top 10 team, there's no doubt about that. But I don't know that that's they will be a top 10 team.
This kid's a talent. He's a real talent. But Williams was more versatile. I liked what DeAndre did because he could play forward, he could play center. I guess you can get away with small forward. This kid's a center. But I think that's exactly what they need. And like you said, that's what they were hoping with Jordan Brown. Whatever the reason is, it has not worked out. Again, I don't know which way they're going with Brown. I find it hard to believe that he would remain on the team. But with this Tomlin guy, he's a legitimate center who can block shots, rebound the basketball. They have struggled to rebound the basketball. It's amazing with this portal. It's like professional sports. You need rebounding help. Well, this kid becomes available, and you go out there like free agency and you pick him up. It's a coup to be able to do something like that to add to your team. And with Memphis, they're able to do that again, according to these reports. So when you get into the NCAA tournament and you play a team that's more half-court oriented, that have a big man or a big men down low, real physical, like Connecticut was last year, you have a guy that can bang. Because right now the boards have been an Achilles heel for Memphis, giving up those offensive rebounds, those second-chance opportunities. This guy's going to help an awful lot with that. By the way, the other cool thing is you now have a Naquan, and you have a Jaquan on the team. So that would be kind of a cool podcast, the Naquan podcast, with Jaquan Walton and Naquan Tomlin doing the podcast. I think that'd be fun. I guess there's all kinds of NIL possibilities out there with the players' names that rhyme. But, yeah, that's certainly big news this morning that came down. Again, not confirmed by anybody at the university yet, nor Penny Hardaway, but I'm sure when Penny has his media availability, he will not only be addressing this, I'm certain that he will address and give us more information on what the situation is with Jordan Brown. But that's our deal right now as far as Memphis is concerned, as they get ready to play the 13th ranked team in the nation, unbeaten Clemson, on Saturday at 2 o'clock. That'll do it for us today on this Tuesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Tomorrow, speaking of Memphis Tigers basketball, Andy Borman will join us at 8:25, or is it 8:05 that he joins us? I think Andy joins us at 8:05.
8:05.
And we'll see.
Jerry Palmer joins us at 8:25.
Yeah, that's right. Jerry Palmer will join us at 8:25. Andy Borman at 8:05. And we'll see if there's anything concrete to talk about. He'll be able to do so. But certainly we'll talk to him about the win over Texas A&M and the upcoming games against Clemson and Virginia. DeMichael Cole also tomorrow on the program to talk Grizzlies. The Grizzlies at the Rockets tomorrow night. And again, 5 favorite things. Your 5 favorite mobster movies, and that includes any movies about the cartel and things of that nature. You know, the bad guys, the bad guy movies. That'll be for tomorrow's 5 favorite things. Big thanks to Connor O'Gara, Jeff Crane, Zoe Goodson, and Aaron Torres for joining us today. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everybody.